tell me, princess, now when did you last let your heart decide?
Okay, so I want to center that.
Okay.
Center that up a little bit higher.
Sure.
We're buffering like a fuck.
You're good, asshole.
Well, hi, Seth.
Where am I at?
Over here.
I like the way you talk.
Shit, it's your boy. Where the dogs
I
at?
like the way you talk.
I
Susan
feel like
and
I've
Q.
officially got upgraded to the regular chairs.
Yeah.
So Eric actually said you're sitting over there.
I
I said, fuck that.
I was gonna be like,
Oh, he sat over there anyway. That's okay. I had to force him to sit up. So, listen. We're going to do our production meeting while everybody's listening, so that's all that matters. So, listen. So, tonight, listen. It's because we have a full table. Everybody, let everybody finish talking. It's okay if we interrupt a little bit. The more we talk over each other, especially with these lavaliers, it interferes. So, because we have a full table and it's going to be a kind of a fired up show, let's let everybody kind of finish. And I know I'm just as bad as everybody else, so I just wanted to kind of get that out there. And we should have a lot of people watching, because a lot of people on Facebook, because I'm calling out a local girl early, so we've got like 10 or 12 girls that are watching just to see me do it. So,
okay.
you ready for that?
So the takeaway here is fuck, motherfuck, noise. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, noise. Smoking
Usually
weed,
they're apart from
smoking
each other
weed,
length.
smoking
So this
fatty,
is like
smoking
the
blunts.
sober,
Who's got the
quieter
blunts?
part of
We
the
got the
table.
blunts.
God, I'm gonna
15
blow
blunts.
that.
Little
You're gonna blow
man,
that?
put that shit
You're back.
in my hand. If that money doesn't show you,
You're gonna get us,
You're
gonna get us banned on Facebook.
I haven't
for
heard that in
copyright
so-
infringements.
My jungle love. Oh.
It was different.
Dude,
enough.
that was live. That was live.
Oh, Zach. All right, stand by. We're going live.
God, the number of viewers just cut in half. No, I'm just kidding.
I wouldn't be surprised.
We are live.
I have that effect on people when I start talking, everybody goes away.
I hurt myself.
So today, to see if I still feel. Well, that happened.
Oh, that's loud.
That is very loud. Hey,
It's making
Megan.
my gooch
hey,
vibrate.
you know how to turn that down on that jukebox remote? Take that jukebox remote, and there's arrows at the bottom. Hit them until you hear it turn down.
So, Philly, wanna take my time now that I'm here.
Look at that. First one you got. Good job. That's good. I think we're up, right?
We're up.
We are live.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome to the shit show. Now,
Welcome to the Thunderdome.
welcome to
bitch.
Session, stream live from Shaker's Bar, downtown Cape. It's the first of its kind, real talk, real people, and abundance of honesty. Those are my new taglines for all of the shit we're going to talk about, the GoFundMe. And thank you to you guys, by the way, the first 2 donations for that. You understand what we're trying to do. But you are watching Sessions, and this is our first night recording for Anchor Podcast, which is going to go to Spotify and Apple iTunes.
Sweet.
Yay for us getting all adult and stuff. And I'm looking into Patreon as we speak.
Excellent.
Not as we speak now, but
We all have to show our.
you get what I'm saying.
Yeah, we can have
Hashtag,
an OnlyFans.
hashtag.
So if anybody's commenting, we're going to ask if you're having trouble hearing us over the music, we'll turn the music down some more. Hey, turn the music down a little more if you don't mind.
Actually, we might want to have the music off because of copyright. In all honesty.
Yeah, we have that issue sometimes, but if they can't hear it, we'll be good. So yes, that's much better. Thank you. So the reason we're excited about this show is for a couple reasons. The first one is we just like doing the show. The second one is we have Matt Lawler back at the table. Matt Lawler, after a working hiatus and taking some time to himself, vacationing on Jeffrey Epstein's island, he is now back in the house.
Heard he had a good time.
He had a great time. Actually, he killed Jeffrey
Really?
Epstein.
Well, we know Jeffrey Epstein didn't kill himself.
We know that's for sure.
According to the rules and laws established by Grand Theft Auto 5,
The rules
if
of-
you kill them, you get to take it. You get to take their stuff.
It's
Very true. I love the reference. So actually, I am glad Matt's back. Matt is very important tonight for the show because we're actually going to be talking about a lot of stuff that's going on in the country right now, and you have a unique perspective considering you've been on both sides of the jurisprudence table. You've been on the prosecution side, and you are currently on the defense side.
I'm actually still on both sides.
I will value. I didn't know you could do it at the same time.
I am a city prosecutor for 2 municipalities out of Scott County.
But you have a defense.
Yes.
Oh, okay. All right. Cool. So you're not allowed to practice in the town, right?
Right.
Like you couldn't prosecute and then defend someone from your town. Like, would it be a conflict, right?
Right.
Okay. All right. We'll say that on here. For the state of Missouri bar.
I missed you.
I'm joking.
I got nothing to hide.
I'm joking. But Matt's here because Matt has some unique expertise in this department, because we are going to talk about stuff that's really important tonight, and it will be a very serious, sobering show. But of course, there's always frivolity and silliness to begin with. But I'm going to introduce the guests real quick. Remember, guys, we're on the podcast, so we don't want any dead air. So if for some reason I have a seizure or I go to sleep, you guys have to keep talking.
I like that. I'm not really good at.
I think you have 4 people
funny.
here
That's
that
not funny.
have no problem talking.
I like turtles.
It wasn't
I don't
supposed.
think Eric got it.
Look,
I
it's
think-
no. It.
I got
Listen,
it.
it's not supposed to be funny. Both you fuckers had seizures, so I'm making fun of you. Come on, just being real. That's
Hey,
funny.
ladies, you don't have to put a quarter in now.
Too soon.
That's amazing.
Cheers.
Too soon. Cheers. Yes. Okay. So what we'd like to offer you at home, if you are watching or you're listening to us first time on a podcast on Spotify, I'm so happy about that too. Fuck Joe Rogan. Everybody go to Spotify.
Yeah, but the difference is he's getting $100 million.
Shut the hell up, man. Give
Don't
me
be
my
one of
glory.
those mainstream fuckers.
Give me my glory for once. All right, but we're on Spotify, we're on Apple Podcasts. We're going to do the Periscope thing, but I got to get a converter to do that. But we are growing, so that's cool. Demon's back. What's up, bro?
Nothing but silly, baby. I see on the thing, I'm like, I gotta believe
episode
in.
brought to you
We
by pizza.
got to talk. We're talking about some African American issues tonight, so we had to have Demon on.
I understand why Brandon's here
He
now.
gives us credibility.
You know, I gotta be the black guy.
I thought you were the white
Tonight,
guy.
well, you don't have to.
No,
use-
I can.
He can
I
do his
can
white.
switch.
He can use both.
It's up to me.
He's got
Oh,
that
okay.
card. He's got the biracial
time.
angel card.
Yeah.
Biracial angel.
Come on, dude.
Yeah, he can do both.
You figured this out at the door when I came in today.
Shit.
Yeah,
that was a long time
He came in
ago.
and said, "I'm white today," and I was like, "Oh, come on in."
They were closed, so you know. I
It's
had
a
to-
joke.
It's
It's a
the
joke.
right
Look,
thing.
we have to be able to joke about ourselves. Brandon's back, of course. We're proud of Brandon. Brandon is now kind of trying to be conservative a little bit.
I don't know about that.
Oh, we
The
have,
most
he's
recent
more- he's
Twitter
more
thing
open.
blew
I
him
have
up,
them.
though.
I have your messages printed out and highlighted
He did.
and posted to my
So
wall.
he's gonna.
No, they're
One
gonna
of
end
us.
up on the meme wall.
One of us is going to read him tonight, but the point is what I think the best part about that is you recognize the hypocrisy of the Democrat Party, so now you're lost like everybody else. Welcome to that.
I'm air quoting.
Hashtag walk away.
Here's the thing. You've taken so much, man, and it just really shows like the level of thick skin you
I know.
have.
I know.
And
well.
and I like, man, you can take our bullshit coming at you. You definitely can take a fist to the fucking face.
That's true.
Hey,
Right,
man.
I
yeah.
can take two of those.
Great reason.
So
was it White Knight right here?
it's so what we're going to do is I want Brandon can kind of fill in the blanks, but I'm going to tell the story like you're not here.
Yeah, go ahead.
Because
That would
it's a
be
great
better.
story, and basically the short version of, and I watched the video playback. The short version of the story is Brandon was defending the honor of a maiden, of a young lady, and by
Let's not say it like you just walked out of a Dungeons and Dragons convention.
You do not diss Dungeons and Dragons.
no,
I'm gonna say
he's saying don't diss Dungeons and Dragons by saying like me acting like I was there.
I mean,
that's
I
a
look-
disrespect.
I do look like the demographic that plays that game, but I
You
assure
do.
you that I do not.
I am the demographic.
By the way,
say, I
I
played
just
it.
wanted to tell you
I've played
guys
it.
that both of you look like John F. Kennedy's ugly grandchildren, the much fatter version that actually ate John F. Kennedy and then screwed and ate Marilyn Monroe.
Story at all yet.
I kept the lips.
I didn't know we were going Hills Have Eyes.
Happy birthday. Anyway, we need to get on a couple things. So there's probably about 5 or 10 young ladies watching right now, and I told them.
Skip over the story.
Oh yeah, I did. Sorry.
I was just saying.
I took a drink of beer. I get a little frenzy. It's my first beer. So here's what happened. Brandon's in the bar, and basically one of Brandon's really close friends, Bailey, was here, and there was a gentleman that obviously doesn't get out of the house very much, or needs to get out more. decided to approach Bailey in a very aggressive manner and raised her skirt and did some other things that were inappropriate.
Oh, you don't mess with Bailey.
And Brandon, not Bailey,
Not
your
Bar
Bailey.
Bailey.
Okay.
The other Bailey that we love too.
Okay.
Brandon actually said something to the guy like, hey, what did you actually say?
I said, hey, what the fuck are you doing? You need to apologize. You're being a
So
fucking creep.
he actually, to be descriptive, he tried to raise her skirt up. Am I correct?
Oh, he did it.
Okay. And so Bailey,
Without any provocation, no conversation.
out of
just walked
nowhere,
up.
right. So Bailey is an attractive woman. Not that that matters, but she is. And so Brandon, who is friends with her, says something to him, and the guy steals on him, basically. He turns his head, and Brandon gets cracked in the face.
Yeah, I didn't know it was coming.
Total cheap shot. Brandon wasn't
it-
even like out of his seat.
It was,
Yeah,
and there's
He
a,
wasn't
there's
even out of his
there's
seat
a
yet.
supplemental to this story I'm going to tell you.
Shit.
So Brandon defends the honor of a young lady, which I compliment you for. I know that I told you, go get one of our security guys, which is what we want to do, but you did stand up for Bailey, so for that you should be applauded. So here's your applause.
Yes, sir.
I didn't do it for the applause.
You did too.
Obviously not.
That's
You
why
did
it's
it,
earned.
Steve.
You do it all for
No,
the nookie?
no. I was going to say he did it. He did it to smooch on Bailey. You know what he did.
Do it all
No,
for
Hey,
the nookie.
you know that
No,
the
nookie.
knights of olden days, when they saved the damsel in distress, they took them to their boudoir later. What happened? I saved you. You owe me.
No. That's exactly what we're fighting against.
Yeah.
Quit it.
So,
It's not going to suck
Quit
itself,
it.
okay?
Don't.
well, that's what I got you for, baby.
Carol Baskin killed her husband, whacked him, fed him to tigers, they snapped him.
Can't convince
Me
me.
that it didn't happen. What's happening? Carol Baskin.
Fuck that bitch.
Why did we go into that song at that point? I don't know. Anyway,
started it.
I did start it. So I learned a couple things from my buddy over here, Damon. He educated me on some Marvel shit, and I'm gonna bring that up later. But I want to call this young lady out. We're gonna do it early.
Oh,
Anyway,
you remembered that. Oh,
I did.
You're going to bring that up.
oh yeah, I think it's amazing.
Oh,
We gotta
man.
put some
He's
bitches
going
on
to bring
blast.
that up.
So we are going to put a young lady on blast. I actually caught a feed, and with everything else that's going on in the world, we're going to talk about it tonight a little bit, but with everything else that's going on in the world, I told these young ladies that were attacking this girl for a very good reason that I would blow her up on the show tonight. You know how much we like to do that. So as a local show, we get to somehow get some local feel, and so this will be the first ones. So tonight, I want to do a special call out and a special admonishment for everyone to know about this young lady. Her name is Cher Bear Roberts. Now, I'm sure Cher Bear may be a nickname or something, but it's her Facebook. And so I'm sure somebody else knows her as Cher Bear Roberts. Cher Bear Roberts, a local gal, thought it would be funny on a Sale at SEMO line to call an African-American, beautiful black woman the N-word on Facebook.
Fuck no.
So I'm going to make her famous tonight, at least locally famous. And first of all, I'm going to look directly into the camera, and we can all do that because we all feel that way. Don't use the N-word ever, but especially as a hateful bitch. Secondly, if you do that, what could happen is people could call you out on fucking Facebook Live on a podcast that goes nationwide. You might not get a job because of it, or someone might call DFS on your irresponsible ass.
We're literally living in cancel culture.
Thank you.
Like, that's
So-
Let's pretend I don't understand your hip lingo.
Yeah, would
the
you like
fuck
to
is cancel
address
culture?
cancel culture real quick?
well, as a hip African American, I have to say, cancel culture is the fact that in today's world, we have so much social media going on that like literally everything we say and do can be watched and then broadcasted. Everyone always can film something or whatever and broadcast it to the world, people who never even met you before. So if you were to say something or do something very ignorant,
wife is not watching right now.
you say or do
Shut up
something
and nobody
very
will know what's
ignorant,
happening.
And
I don't
then,
care, we're guys.
it's something that, would be a bad look for the bar or very much against what Eric believes a man should be. I can let Eric know, post it on the web, and everyone will be like, everyone might attack Eric for having you on the show, which will make him have you
Oh,
on
that's
the
happened.
show.
That's happened.
And
That has happened.
I constantly stay on the sacrificial lamb mount for Zach, but it's okay. We love
Keep
you.
him on the fire.
For instance, we're bringing up the guy who's currently in jail for what he did to Bailey.
Yeah. Well, actually, he's released now.
He bonded out.
So let me finish.
He was in jail over Memorial Weekend.
He was,
so.
but let me finish let me add the supplemental since we're there now. So Share Bear, this part of the story is for you. I wanted to say, be nice, use good words. When your fallback is the N word because you are dumb and ignorant, you can't think of anything better to say. You could have made fun of anything about this person, but you decided to use the N word because of skin color. You are a nasty, icky. I bet you smell below the waist. I'm just saying.
Let's make this positive.
Okay.
If I can.
Matt,
instead of saying
we love you so much.
a
and
word
we messed
that
the shit
instead
out
of saying a word that throws bricks at innocent people.
Yeah.
Use a word that throws bricks at the person you're aiming at.
I love Matt so much, man. I've missed Matt so much. Matt is always the voice of reason on this show.
Just real quick, hide your kids.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I forgot.
There's some language issues.
We
here.
needed to clear that up. So Share Bear
And
Roberts.
this Share Bear, her name's Share Bear.
It's CHERBEAR.
You sure that ain't a Care Bear?
All right.
I forgot that machine was.
She doesn't know how to spell.
Share Bear, just real quick, do me a favor, stop being a cunt. Just little tidbit of advice here.
Clean it up.
So basically, and what Matt is what I love about Matt always kind of brings stuff back into focus. What Matt's saying is, listen, in all seriousness, we said some vicious stuff, but Share Bear, you may be an ignorant person. You obviously either have learned that it's okay to say that, somebody taught you that, or you just don't know, which is weird in today's world. But let's just assume you've been living in Chaffee for a while. No offense.
Man,
I'm saying.
now you're haranguing the fine people of Chaffee.
Okay.
Let's say she's been living in
How
Anna.
did you say that?
Okay, Scott City. All right. Anna? Are we okay with Illinois?
Yeah, sure.
Good song.
Hey, you
I would
can
say
harangue those
Anna's
folks
the
all you
city that
want.
put me
Let's
out.
say you've been living in a
Yeah.
town. Let's say you've been living in a town that does not represent the best in the world, and they think the N-word is something that you just use on a random basis.
Turn your volume down. Make
So-
sure your volume's down.
My point to this is Share Bear
Yeah.
Roberts, the young lady that you insulted,
Is it me?
didn't take
It's
offense
me.
to it. She actually commented by saying, what you're saying doesn't bother me. I'm used to this kind of stuff. It's ridiculous. Shows your intelligence. And then she got blown up on Facebook. So for all the ladies out there that blew her up and called her out in public, she's now Facebook famous on the live stream. And she's going to go be Facebook. She's going to be Spotify famous real soon. So keep that in mind. Anchor is supplying that. So I want to put that out. Do not be hateful. And this is a prime example of what we're going to talk about later and what it leads to. So make sure you're staying in. By the way, if you are watching sessions,
Rob's back.
good for Rob. I'm glad. Rob Davis or Rob Brown? Rob B.
Baranowski.
Good.
Yeah.
I didn't know how to say his name, so I'm going to say. If you're watching the show, please comment if you have something you want to put into the show. One of our guests, this is one of the cool things about the show, they all pull their phones up, they all watch the feed, and they all look at comments that are coming, and the good comments get noticed. We'd love to share those with people that are watching and listening on Spotify. It's so cool to say that. All right, so let's move on. Anybody want to finish anything there?
I think
You covered it.
All right, cool. You're like, let's move on quickly. So I was informed on something. We do lighthearted stuff at first, kind of fun stuff. Before I give the secret, I'm going to ask these guys, the nerds. I'm going to ask them if they know.
I thought Zach was here when we talked about it.
No,
Okay.
he was not. That was on Monday.
talking
That
about-
was
I
on
revealed
Monday.
some information to Eric about a certain superhero.
I was educated by someone that has information about a superhero character that I didn't know about, which they've never revealed this publicly, like big.
They will never say this
Right.
nowadays.
But
They
I
will
want to
never
bring
say
it up
this.
because I think people need to know. So, I love Wonder Woman.
Thanks for watching, Logan.
I think is it Chapman?
Chap?
Oh man, look, we'll get back to Logan in a minute. We're going to talk about Logan in a minute, but what I love, first of all, they cast the perfect actress for Wonder Woman. Will
Gal
you agree?
Gadot?
Gal Gadot.
Oh,
Israeli. She had like special forces training, and like she's an amazing woman.
She's a bad bitch.
She is. You can literally.
You could have had her. A bad bitch.
Stop it!
I can't
I
help
thought
it.
you hate Lizzo.
It's there. It's there.
All right, so
I don't know who the fuck that is.
So
would
Wonder
so
Woman's
be
an
in the back
amazing
of that.
character, right? It's girl
would be
power and
walking
all
in
of
the
this.
back
She's
of that
from a
crowd.
special place where women rule and women are in control. But
Are idiots.
I was informed that Wonder Woman has a weakness.
Yeah. Oh.
Hold on.
I think I know it.
Wonder Woman has a weakness. Now, as someone that is kind of a casual viewer of superhero fare, I wasn't sure what it was. I had no idea. And when he told me, I was like, what? because when Wonder Woman's written like the 50s or 60s, so kind of that time frame, and this is a perfect summation of the time it was written. So
Can I say this?
yes,
I do want to
Is
say
her
when you
weakness
hear
the
what
kitchen?
when you hear what this weakness is, I want you to know that I'm not like a super comic book reader or anything, but I look it
None
up.
of us are.
I like to look it
you're
up.
a connoisseur
and see
of
their history.
information, though.
Yes.
You look at a lot of stuff.
And one of the main points for bringing Wonder Woman in it was
Yeah.
because they felt like they didn't have that woman,
Right.
That Wonder Woman, basically.
Right.
Her name basically says what she was supposed to be to Marvel. So when you look at her weakness, it's kind of like,
I know.
whoa.
Did you just say Wonder Woman's Marvel?
No, to DC.
I'm sorry, it's a DC.
He meant DC.
Wow,
I knew
don't
what he
know why I
meant.
said
It's
that,
fine.
yeah.
All right, so I'm going to let you start with see
Yeah.
if you know what it is.
So to start off, it's kind of important to show a little bit of history behind the character of Wonder Woman.
Good,
It's
okay.
created by the guy. His name escapes me right now, but he also invented the polygraph test, the lie detector. That's
Seriously?
why she has a rope that is a
that
lasso
tells
of
the truth. Lasso of truth. Oh, okay,
That's why.
cool.
So
That's interesting.
he
Did you know
and
that?
his
Yeah.
wife.
Did you know that? Oh, good.
But
then I'm with you.
here's where the story gets interesting. He and his wife and their mistress that they all slept together with, triad, polyamorous triad.
Triad.
They came up with the character.
Eiffel Tower it.
Yeah.
Sayonara,
they-
sucker.
But they were all in a relationship together. Okay, so they all had input on the character. She's got a weakness:
What is it?
being tied up by a man.
And hold up, the way you worded it might get people
Yeah, a little confused.
You don't even have to be
It's
tied
actually
up.
Doesn't
being
even have to be
wrapped up in a
restrained.
hug
Just
by a
restrained.
man.
to be restrained
Any
by
form
a
of
man.
any form of bondage.
Yeah, any form
So
of,
I am
if
literally-
if a man hugs Wonder Woman and refuses to let her go, she is no longer Wonder Woman. She is a woman with a man's arms around her.
so the dog part of me, the man part of me is like, yeah.
Got
So
you
you're
good,
like-
bitch.
But the self-awareness and the I love my wife power and my daughters are powerful.
As you went, yeah.
I'm like, the other side of me is like, oh, how chauvinistic. It tells you about the time it was written and the people that wrote it. But to clarify, her weakness is being restrained basically by a man.
Yep.
That's her weakness.
That's how Batman got her.
How? By the way,
I'm going to say
why is there
contingency plans.
Yeah.
why is there
That's
not
it.
more
Everyone knows about
sex
Batman's
in
contingency plans,
superhero
yeah.
stuff?
Oh,
There's
there
a
is.
fuck ton of
You're
stuff.
Not
not
on
paying
movies.
attention.
Not
I'm
on
going
the
to say
movies.
you don't read the right ones. Yeah,
No,
I'm
not
gonna
on the
say-
movies though.
Okay.
There is no other than what's her name, Black Widow, and what's
Hawkeye. Well,
Yeah.
they're best friends. They're not.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought they were living together.
No.
In
That's-
in
No.
Age of Ultron.
the last one where they
Endgame?
Endgame. Aren't they living together on the farm?
No, that
Doesn't
his,
she
his
come out of
wife
the
and
house?
kids got fucking snapped.
Yeah, they got.
Oh, okay.
Dusted.
Oh, dusted.
And then
Okay.
he ended up,
Haven't seen Endgame.
They got salt bathed.
I'm gonna
That
say
movie
then
was
he
sad.
He ended up losing Black Widow.
That's right.
Spoiler alert!
To
If
get
you haven't
the-
seen
to
a
get
movie
the
3
Soul
years
Stone.
old,
He was going to sacrifice
2
himself,
years.
and she was like, "No,
1 year.
you." And
Fuck.
then he saved
Marvel
her.
movies, they come out
Then
sometime.
eventually she got him. So
So
she killed her.
since Birds of Prey failed, even though Margot Robbie's amazing, what's going to be next for superheroes? What's coming?
the Snyder
Hey.
cut of Justice League on HBO.
At which point
Oh,
I will
thank
come.
God! Thank God!
I will.
Justice
come in
League
my
sucks so bad, and Snyder is the one thing that could have made it better.
I will literally blow so many loads when I get my Snyder cut.
What he's trying to say is he'll be excited about it.
So, guys, confirmed to appear in the Snyder cut
speak
is
Zaxxonese.
Darkseid, and Supergirl may have an appearance.
You
and
do
also a Green Lantern.
You do have a language because Lauren knows how to translate your language. What I love is when I post stuff to the bar Facebook Messenger, because so everybody knows this. We actually shoot in a bar down here at Shakers, and although I've said it several times, it's kind of become just a normal thing. But I have a Facebook Messenger stream where I basically all the people that work down here and help Shakers be an awesome place. I share messages with them, and sometimes Zach, not sometimes, all the freaking time, Zach has a way of communicating through text and message that you kind of have to understand. It's Zachanese, right? Or Zachisms.
Zachanese, man.
Zachisms or Zachanese. So Zach has a way of communicating where he takes words and shortens them and then adds other letters to make them sound a certain way. So when you say them, it makes it sound like you're cussing a lot. And so Lauren, who is, bless Lauren's heart, Lauren kind of understands Zach on another level. and probably because Lauren's been there in that level. Zach is in the so Zach is in the place where that weird middle part in the superhero movies where it's like space but not space, kind of that weird like powers are all kind of equal and like everybody's kind of like fighting each other but no one has any ultimate power. Right before he snapped his fingers, that area where he was kicking it, and then they were all anyway. Zach, where Zach lives at. Zach lives in that middle zone. What do we call it? The middle kingdom. That's where Zach lives.
You live in no man's land.
Yeah.
Yes.
And in no man's land, Zach
I know
communicates.
territory.
Yeah, Zach communicates with basically Zach. And occasionally someone else will stick their head and go, "What's going on?" And he'll go, "Allah!" And they'll be like, "What the hell did he just say?"
Come here.
So Lauren can translate Zach, and it was so funny because I sent out something to everybody, and Zach replied, and I'm like, question mark, huh? And Lauren's like, let me translate. I know Zach language. So she translated what
It
he
was
said.
spot on. It was spot on
Yeah.
what she said, too.
Well, that was a lovely story.
I don't know where it came from.
I don't know what the context is.
I don't either. Does it have to have context?
Yeah, well, now I'm curious what the fuck he said. Like, what
Oh,
is
it
the
was so
example?
long
it?
ago,
What
I
was
don't
it?
even remember what it was.
Listen, I'm going to tell you something that's amazing. I'm going to do a little 10-page short story book on Zach's messages.
Oh, fuck, I'm in.
It's going to be amazing.
Have the
forget
oatmeal
the random
animated.
And we'll sell it on here and give all the money to some charity. I think it'll be a freaking amazing thing because the way you do your language, you literally change a word that's something that I'm very familiar with into something I don't recognize, and then I say it that way, and if I said it to my daughters, I'd be like,
I think I'm just gonna get Zach a subscription to Hooked on Phonics.
I want.
no,
to say something.
he speaks very clearly, but it's just his way. It's like, it's Boston mixed with Neverworld, and Neverworld is mine, by the way.
Neverworld.
I need the hashtag Scamdemics. That's mine. Scamdemics.
Okay.
That's mine. What was the one I did the other day? Do you remember that one? You were sitting down here and I said it, and you're like, "Oh, is that the new one?"
Oh, fuck, that would have been good, too.
Yeah, that's a good one.
We'll get back to you.
Yeah,
Okay,
and Neverworld is mine too.
I have something I want to say to all those watching or future.
I love
movie
the way you
watching
talk, man.
and everything.
I do. Like, you have a nice, smooth way of talking, and you smile.
like the
you smile
way
the whole
you
time
talk.
you're talking. So it
Actually-
makes me want to cuddle with you.
Actually, part of what I'm going to say is about that.
Oh yeah? How you like to
that,
cuddle?
I talked to Eric a little bit
Can't
about it, but
wait.
I've talked to Zach the most about it. Zach and I have talked about it pretty often. Zach and I would like to do a debate on the show. Maybe not on a Thursday night, maybe set it for a certain time, but we were thinking.
Oh no, we can make it.
We were thinking we could have the guests, the people, comment.
We
and say
wanna
what
put
they
it
want
on
us
a
to debate
fair
about.
level.
Yeah.
You know
We
what?
don't get to pick.
We have no topic
hold up.
choice.
No interrupting.
Oh.
We don't get to pick the topic, so it's fair. You guys pick the topic.
It's like a town hall.
And we have
We're
a
We could
debate.
Patreon
In the
that
shittiest
shit.
possible
And
way.
maybe like the last 30 minutes, people get to
your
comment
idea.
and ask the questions, and we answer the questions like in any
Oh,
other
okay.
debate.
Like a
And then we
legitimate debate, not
we
like
see-
kindness,
'cause
but
it's weird because Zach and I, we have a lot of the same ideas. I feel like we're the same person on different sides of the world.
Tracks.
Yeah, like it's like we behave differently, think the same way though, but like think 100% differently.
Zach's got some urban in him, man. He
weird.
understands.
All I'm saying right now is Damond is beating you on the shirt carrying. Like 100%.
No, for real. Let
Do you have something against America?
Yeah, that's an eagle on there. Damn it.
America!
But you both are fucking birds, and you're gonna get two.
All I've got to say
That dude
about
has
this
an amazing-
argument
that dude
is
has
I've
amazing
never
hair.
drank alcohol out of a plastic eagle.
Oh, touche. And other French words that I don't know what they mean.
But have you drank alcohol out of an eagle?
Nope.
You're not really American
An
then.
eagle carcass?
Yeah, you.
I'm working my way up.
Yes. Wait, it's illegal. It's a felony to kill an eagle, but it's also kind of awesome. I'm just gonna say.
I'm just saying.
If you
all
have
right?
an eagle freaking standing in your living room, a stuffed one, and first of all, what's the stuffer called?
Taxidermist.
Taxidermist, thank you. If a taxidermist has the balls to stuff an eagle,
Nope.
and then you have the balls to put it in your living room, you're American.
At that moment, you have no choice but to grow a mullet, a kicking stash, and start carrying God's caliber.
And saying
You
Carol
also-
Baskin.
I'm gonna say you also have to at one point in your life have said, they took her jobs!
they took our germs.
They took her jobs!
And have a woman that dips tobacco.
You got to be holding an M1 Scout while you
That's
do
a
that
classy
too.
broad.
Scout.
I'm just saying, that's a classy broad.
Dude,
If
I
you-
watched them on
if you-
Amazon.
If you got a chick who dips,
I
carries
watched.
around everyone's
There was a
platoon,
girl on Amazon. She was dipping. She did it because she quit smoking and she was dipping and she was spitting. And I was strangely aroused
by that.
I'm quitting smoking.
I don't have enough
You
alcohol
are
for
not.
that.
We talked about that.
Nope,
Stop lying to the people.
Nope.
White people.
He says I'm
Come
quitting
on,
smoking.
this is
When
so,
white people
so
moments
listen,
happen,
hey,
that's what I do.
we
There's
need to do a
certain
segment for
things
real.
Only
Where
white
it's
people
just your segment where you like white
Demonic
people
white
stuff.
people.
Yeah, no, yeah.
Man, have you seen Facebook? That is white people stuff, okay?
It really is. It
I just
really
think I just think we wouldn't have horror movies if it wasn't for white people.
we wouldn't have a lot of shitty stuff and good
Because
stuff.
we just wouldn't go investigate the dude who dumped dead bodies down the tunnel. We
Something
just,
happened
we'd be
over
like,
there.
oh,
I'm
a
going
great
this
one.
way.
Oh, they
That's a
already
great
dead.
movie.
We can't.
Wait,
save
it's
them
an
now.
old abandoned church with a bunch of crows flying around, and he's dumping down an old cistern,
I wouldn't
and he
attach to those crows.
drives a truck that says "beating for you."
You
Maybe
telling-
we shouldn't turn
You
around.
telling me if I watch this video, I'ma die like everyone else has recordedly died? Man, pop that bitch.
You're
in.
going to put
The
that
ring.
Pop it.
How dare you? Oh, you dare
Yeah,
me.
that's got to be bullshit. It doesn't matter that 5 people in our class are dead. Yeah, put that shit in.
Exactly.
That's white people stuff.
White people.
That's right.
So,
But don't hashtag it on
Real
Facebook
quick,
because you'll
though.
get in trouble for hate crime.
you
Just
said
saying.
I dare you. So,
Happened to me,
is
man.
double dare white people
By
shit?
saying white people stuff.
Yeah. Well, I said
Double
fucking
dog
white people
donut
stuff,
dare.
but
But
That's
still,
some white people shit.
you
I
got
get that.
But here's
I
the thing.
understand
Once
now.
you go triple double dog donut there, you kind of
Yeah.
stuck. You stuck.
Yeah, you might
said double donuts and you got
might
my
have said
All right, so let's move on. Matt, you haven't been in the conversation, even though you're going to have a lot to say later for me. I'm going to bring up something. Oh, look, your podcast is now available on Breaker. We're on all kinds of stuff. Breaker, Spotify, iTunes. We're grown up now, Matt.
I appreciate the changes.
Yeah, we're growing, man.
I'm getting a little freaking emotional.
I don't need to know that about you.
Will you hold me tonight? Anyway, actually, I'm just saying when you get a drink, will you get me a beer?
Yeah, I will.
All right, thanks, woman. All right, so
Just don't tie me up. You know?
Actually, I need to
do you?
refresh.
Will you grab me? a
I
Budweiser, bro?
got the first round. Just
You
put it
notice
on
how
my
I said
tab.
it to you when you grabbed me your Budweiser, bro, and I was like, thanks, woman, to him.
Are you grabbing drinks for all?
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
So I'm gonna need
So
a
Matt,
screwy Sprite.
I want to ask you this
Rum and
question.
Coke.
Since you
She
are
knows what I want.
you are the
Megan knows what
local
I'm drinking.
and regional expert in law to me. Like I don't think of law without thinking about you.
I appreciate that.
No, I really do. And you have actually conferred with me, so I guess I kind of paid you. So you're kind of my lawyer. Matt's got a lot of people on his scrolls.
More and more each day.
More and more each day. Matt's an amazing guy. So I like a guy like you with your reason, your logic. So someone that would represent somebody in court, I would recommend anybody call you. I'm just saying. All right. Speaking of that, have you ever heard of frogging with a PH?
No, it's screwball.
Is that like squatting?
Kind of, yeah.
Don't get to judge me.
So I found this out by a movie, right? I thought we'd bring this up. Do you guys know what frogging is? PH? PHR. Okay, you're gonna get to hear something cool.
Do you know what docking is?
Please don't get me off on that.
It's similar.
Notice how I went immediately like,
Frogging is actually a social and societal phenomenon right now. It actually is what you said. People actually pick a house and they move into it when somebody else is living there. So if you own a house, someone's living in your attic or your basement while you're living there. There's
been a lot of stories about that.
Scary, yeah. No, nobody knows. That's the part of it is you do it for as long as you can so you don't get caught.
whiskey.
So typically what they do is, it's usually younger couples, and usually it's like a boy and a girl. They'll go in and they'll get in a crawl space, and they watch the house for a week or two to watch the movements of the people, and they memorize their schedule. So they break it. They don't steal anything. Like you don't commit, other than breaking into a house, you're not committing a crime. You're just there. You actually stay in there, and then you watch the lives of the other people, and while they go to work and live their life, you go down and live in their house.
That's fucked up.
That's frogging.
So
And
basically,
eat their food. Right.
so basically the plot of Parasite.
Yes.
I will say that this is probably not a state you can get away with that.
You came back without my beer. You're not a very good hostess.
To frogging. White people.
He is. So,
White people?
He's not wrong.
the reason I brought this up is I have thought of this before, doing it in a weird way when it was an ex-girlfriend. No, I'm joking. I didn't do that.
It's like,
Just like I didn't have sex with my aunt. I did have sex with my
You
aunt.
had sex with
I did.
I gotta get the
did.
fuck up out of here. White people stuff.
I did.
How did I get on this show again?
Listen, hey, is sex with your aunt white people stuff? Where's my bud? Oh, you absolutely. You can't carry 2 bottles. See you guys.
Hey, nice hat.
Yes, we like your hat.
Rum and Coke, please.
I'm a fan of Boston in the way nostalgia is. It's a nostalgic team.
Hey, if the guy from Barstool Portnoy can get on board with eating emos after we kick their ass, I'm okay with Boston. I tell you what, Fenway was the best
Thank
park
you,
I've ever
sir.
been to outside of Busch.
Did you
I
fix your
would
beautiful
always
slide
go
in?
there and have a great time.
No, but I will.
So I brought up frogging because I actually at one point had a girlfriend that broke up with me, and in my disheartened state of mind, I actually went into her apartment when she
What
wasn't
was
there.
his name?
Got all your
Carol.
Baskins.
She tried to kill him and feed him to her fucking.
What's
dogs.
happening?
Can't convince me that it didn't happen.
And I'm gonna tell you right now, I would have married Carol Baskin. She could have told me she killed her ex-husband. I still married her. That's
Yeah.
how dumb I was.
If you got to use the money, yeah, fuck yeah. I would
You
too.
own a tiger farm, for freak's sake.
and run a
Sanctuary, thank you.
Oh, that's right. They don't mate tigers, but they do mate tigers.
Hey, we're
What do
protecting-
tigers dream of?
We're
though?
protecting
What
the
do
tigers.
tigers dream of?
dream of?
Oh, that's amazing.
We're protecting the tigers.
That's why
by
we need a
removing
producer.
them from cages and putting them in other.
That's why we
cages.
need a producer on this show so they can play little snippets of music while we're doing this, like to back it up.
I'll do it.
Zach, cut 3,
That's
go.
that's one thing that Joe Rogan doesn't do. He doesn't have because it's copyright shit.
Yeah,
you can't do it.
Can't do it.
Well, he could pay for it, but it's too expensive.
It's hella expensive.
Yeah. Then
Got
you're
100 mil.
And also,
I know.
as soon as he does play that, they pull the episode and demonetize it. So
they do, and he can't afford it. So Matt, have you ever thought about frogging? Not frogger, but frogging.
What are you doing?
What are you doing under the table there?
I'm beating my thing here.
You're beating your thing.
So, no.
Packing.
No, I have not.
You have not.
My job is to get people out of situations like that.
Right,
so.
right. So you have you represented anybody that's like that? Does that
No.
ever come across
Well,
your
yeah,
desk?
you know,
I'm gonna have to talk to him about.
now that I think about it, yes, I have. We didn't call it that.
did?
But yeah. I represent somebody against those folks that just kind of squatted on the property. He was actually a former attorney, and I won't say what county that was in because I don't want to give away too
Wait,
much
he used to be an
information.
attorney and he was squatting?
He was squatting, yeah.
So squatting's a little different.
He
in the
since
fact-
surrendered his
Pay
law
must be
license.
shit.
Yeah. Well, yeah, lawyers don't make a lot sometimes. Especially the pro bono guys and the ones that work for the state do the pro bono defense stuff. They don't make very much. They don't make very much at all, and they got a huge caseload.
Well, this guy was not that guy. Let me tell you.
he wasn't that guy?
This guy was just a jackass.
Yeah, that's true. A lot of lawyers are.
also, it
You're
can't
not,
be.
which
It
is
can't
the
be
difference.
breaking into an ex's residence if you have a key.
I did have a key, but no, actually it is.
Jenna.
It still is.
Yes,
yeah.
under law, once if you're
If you're-
not
if you're
on
not
the
a
lease-
resident.
if you're not a resident, which is recognized as a legal resident, meaning you're on
Why
a
is it the
lease,
fact
Or-
that
or if
white
you've
men,
lived there for a certain amount of
specifically
time.
White men.
that do that for
No,
all
the comment. The fact that white men can admit to break into their ex's place of residence like it's a joke. Hashtag privilege.
It's not a joke,
I actually-
but we made it a joke.
I'm gonna say,
She's
I
got a
actually
point.
liked it.
I mean, we can make anything.
I liked
a
it
joke.
because
How
it
much
was
time you
true,
got?
but kind of the irony of it, the specificness of it,
Yeah.
because you could literally just say people or something,
So we're not going to say who that is, but I will say this to the individual. Is this female or male?
I'm assuming female.
By the name. Okay. Obviously new to the show. So let us tell you something about this show real quick to the individual that just said something about privilege. We don't play that shit here. There is no privilege here. We're all even. We all talk about everything on here. When I did that because I was in a psychotic state of mind because I felt heartbroken. It wasn't right, and had I been caught, I would have been arrested and prosecuted. I wasn't arrested and prosecuted. I still had a key. I was on the lease. I just felt real skeevy doing it because I was in a room when I wasn't supposed
Is that
to be.
the only thing that's made you ever feel skeevy?
No.
Okay.
having to give a social justice warrior a lesson on this show makes me feel real skeevy and icky.
We don't know that
Also
she's a
looking at your
social justice
Pornhub
warrior.
searches.
For her to actually say that I
If
made
you're
a
gonna
joke
hashtag
To put
privilege,
because I'm
hashtag
a white
privilege,
guy,
to put
yeah.
hashtag privilege.
Because I'm a white guy and put hashtag privilege, it's not privilege. If I would have been caught, I would have been arrested like anybody else. I joke about it just like anybody else jokes about experiences in their life. And look, you can feel what you want to feel. I'm glad she's on there. But listen, what I say to everybody that messages on our board, come on the show. You have stuff to say. We'd love to have you
Oh,
on board.
please come on the show and talk about
Be
how
our
Eric
guest,
went into
be
his
our
ex-girlfriend's
guest.
apartment.
Put your bullshit to
Hold
the
up, but let's
test.
say this. Let's
All
say
I'm
this.
saying is
A lot
daddy's
of
home.
people. Let's say this. A lot of people like to say things and like call things out on the internet.
Yes.
But when they are given the chance to come up and speak about it, they often say, "Oh, okay. Well, I'm gonna just be quiet."
Well, and they also demand you're right. But the other thing that they do is then they turn it around on you and say, "I'm not coming on your show. I don't want to talk to you."
Exactly.
Yeah.
What would be the point of talking?
I still want that thing on the show. I
I
still
know.
want to debate it.
I know that, and that's the thing is, here's my thing about this show. So, an individual is going to come on next show, which is going to be cool. Very, very left, very, very liberal, very Democrat.
Cool
but we
cat.
love the guy.
Yeah, cool cat.
And
Who
we
is it?
want it, Zach Smith.
Okay.
We want to hear what he has to say, and especially on his issues with Trump and a meme that he posted. Now, I'm the first one to say not all memes are all the way factual. They have like tidbits of like adjectives in there and descriptors. But this one was pretty descriptive about stuff that was going on, and I'm going to basically debate him for just a short period next week. Basically, everybody can, whoever wants to, but basically call him out on the meme itself and have him go through each point of it. And then basically first, I want him to basically say, I keep saying basically, I'm a basic white guy, I guess, with all my privilege.
They backtracked and said it was a joke.
I don't know
Oh,
that
good.
she backtracked.
Okay.
I just think her first was misinterpreted.
Hey, don't assume what I think.
No, I actually think she wanted to test the waters on the show, and then she realized that we don't play. We like.
Well, that's also the danger of social media and texting and
Thank you.
communication in
Context,
general.
you know.
I
that
tell
we've
my
been talking
client-
about for months. is
Yep.
that
I tell my
anything
clients
you
that all the
put
time.
Can be misconstrued. So
That's right. So
That's why I talk.
That's
why
why
I
I'm saying
didn't
come
say
on the show. We
Well,
talk
that's
about it.
yeah,
And that's why come on the show is the perfect comeback.
exactly. That's why I didn't say her name, because I wanted to give her a chance to kind of think about it. Maybe she wants to come on the show. Maybe she's legit.
Coming on the show.
Be good to have a woman on the show.
Well, we do, and anybody with a strong voice. That's why this gentleman's on the show, because he had
That's how I ended up.
an
there.
amazing array of knowledge. He also will speak his mind, and he also recognizes bullshit when he sees it, and that's
game
what I like.
recognized game.
That's one thing about everybody that's on the show that's ever been on the show. Well, I'm not gonna say ever. I made some mistakes and yes,
Oh, yes, you.
I
but
wanna say-
everybody
I'm
that's
sorry.
on the show now, they have a bullshit meter that can be read through the dark. You guys anticipate and see bullshit quickly, so we don't put up with it. So what I want to say is, if you're watching this show to see a bunch of pretty bullshit and a bunch of scripted stuff, it's not. This is all off the top of our heads, man. It's,
Oh, did you tell
You know,
you?
we-
Let me justify that one real quick. I
what were you
didn't.
gonna say?
Oh, but a lot of people saw a comment I made on Facebook last night, including a couple people here at the table.
Your Facebook's funny.
A comment
just
I
gonna
made on
say.
Facebook last night, and what it said was, I'm gonna try to actually. There's no need to try to censor it. It was something around the fact of like, man, actually,
I'm actually offended we're not on Facebook
Is-
together.
we
Is
are.
Damon-
I'm finna say I added you.
Yeah, we need to fix that.
Is Damon getting good feed? Because I don't know if I'm getting him on here. I think
Okay,
people
so
can hear
what I
you.
said was, wow, I'm trying extremely hard to not hate you people. Being a dick will always be better than
Oh,
being
yeah.
pretentious, you fake fucks.
That's the one where I said, "Let me know who it is, and we'll get him."
yeah.
You
And-
people?
Someone actually said
Oh.
that. Someone said that. Was that you who commented that?
No, we ain't on page together.
Someone commented. I sent you an invite.
Reach out,
Someone
Zach.
commented
Oh,
a GIF.
I'm
of-
gonna say someone
of
sent a gift.
Reach
fucking Robert
out.
Downey
Everybody
Jr.
needs
from
more black
Tropic
friends. Zach, everybody needs more black friends.
But a lot of people been asking me, am I okay since
I got
then?
Bobby.
But what it was
One and
was
done.
I had a friend, and if you look on my page, I only have like 120 something friends. I used to have like 3,000, but
you're so picky.
I really don't like having people who
No, I get you.
who
I
aren't
get
really
it.
my friends.
I got a
saying that-
freaking 1,800, 2,000 friends, and
And you know,
Not at all.
someone had made a comment to me that was very pretentious, and I was just like, I know that's not how you feel. You don't got to pretend to be that way. And they put on a whole act, basically saying, "No, I love you, Damon. You're this. You're such an inspiration." And I was just like, I would much rather you be who you are and what you
Why
think
you
of
talking
me,
shit on me right
which is a dick. I'm gonna say they're a dick. They believe I'm a dick, and they're a dick.
I don't think
And I was
it's
just
you.
like, you should just be yourself. Just be a dick to me. We can
What's-
just not hang out with each other.
Good people
That
can
is
argue with
just-
good people. It's fine.
Listen, you literally just
Like,
described
just quit being
Zach.
pretentious.
You did, like
You literally just,
You literally-
without meaning to describe Zach's whole character and demeanor. He is completely upfront and honest about everything. He says what he thinks.
And
He
has
is
been from the moment I've
He
met
is
him.
the most Trump-like individual I've ever met.
My words
whoa,
are big.
whoa.
Perfect.
Listen to me. No one is as Trump like as me.
So we're going to address your little Trump anger later, by the way.
Let
So
me be
fucking
clear.
angry.
I love it. It's funny. I do Obama and he does Trump.
All I got is Clinton, man.
All you gotta do is make your mouth look like a fucking butthole.
Hey, I do Hillary.
I'm not Jeffrey.
No one
fucking
does
Epstein.
Hillary.
I do Epstein, too.
Literally, no one does
I do
Hillary.
Epstein.
That's why she's.
Oh, is that Pepsi? Pepsi Man. You know where it's at. I've showed you before. The leak's back there by the bags, man.
Literally, no one does Hillary. That's why.
All right.
So you are watching Sessions
Clinton
stream live from Shaker's Bar, downtown Cape. If
He
you are
preferred his
listening,
secretary. He preferred his intern.
if you are listening on Spotify, Anchor, Breaker, any of those places, we are so happy that you tuned in to us, and we hope that you come back and listen. If any of this frivolity and silliness struck you right, I learned a new word, by the way. I keep using it. Have you,
Silliness.
China.
China. But if you stop by and you found us on Spotify, God bless you, and we hope you come back. Joe Rogan sucks. So we want to move on to the next thing. I'm gonna purposely
Dude,
start fights with
the
Joe Rogan.
The worst part is no one's going to pick up on that. They're going to pick up on the fact that you only acknowledge one God. That's where we're going to get our backlash.
I know.
Just one.
I like Jesus. What? Anyway,
What about Muhammad, motherfuckers?
by the way, Mon, I just want to tell you are
He's not God.
not
He's just a
black.
prophet.
Right?
Biden says you're not black.
I mean, I'm not. I don't.
You
plan
are
on
not a
voting
black
for him.
man.
I don't plan on. So far, he doesn't have my vote. So you
Hello,
know.
Tim.
You are not. Is that God love?
God love.
Welcome in, Tim.
Yeah.
Tim, I want you to be part of my
Biden doesn't have
acoustic
vote
night that
'cause
I'm
of,
going to have.
a lot
so
of shit that he's
hit me
done.
up.
Like,
That's icing
Smell
on
you?
the cake.
Smell you.
That's just the most recent shit that he's done.
Yeah, you know, Biden didn't have my vote to begin with, and then saying that stuff, it was just like.
But here's the
okay.
thing. Here's
Nail,
the thing.
coffin.
You know what's the
Hey.
irony in what he said? And I said this to Zach the other day. The irony is what he said is there's some truth to what he said, not in a good way, but in a bad way.
it makes Republicans want to vote for him.
No, the truth is, for years, the black vote went to Democrats. Just for years, it was just a give-in, right? And then that kind of started cracking with Trump because he kind of started connecting a little bit. And what Biden basically said is where are you guys all at? Where are you going? Where's the 30% of you that's going to vote for Trump next time?
I think
'Cause
it
that's-
actually started with Obama when.
You think?
Yeah.
You
I
think
do.
Obama pushed?
I do.
Really?
Because it brought you agree.
I do agree.
I think it
No,
started
I'm
with Obama because when Obama first got into office, there was the big. When he first was on the ballot and he made it to the main ballot. It was
There was a lot of we did
just
it.
Like there was a lot of we did it, and like
That's
we talked
true.
about last time,
That's
he
true.
had to carry a little bit more stress than other presidents because he did have that. I'm black. I got to start that legacy. I'm the first black president kind of
Yeah.
thing. The same thing the first woman's going to have to do.
Still want a birth
The first gay
certificate.
man's going to have to do. And it's
Get over
the
it.
fact that
It's
it
over
brought
it.
it brought black vote it brought the black vote even more to the mainstream where
Okay.
it was like it was highlighted how many black people are going to vote for him.
See, and as it drug out, it became, what are you actually doing for us?
Yeah, it's like why should
Be-
we
because
though?
because
Why
politicians
should
should be
we, though?
working for that vote.
Exactly.
See, here's the thing. If you think about voting, right? So in the last election, there was about 126 to 130 million people voted, right? There was 60-something million for Trump and 63.
It's about 130, 135.
Right. So of that percentage, there's about black and brown voters on the million standpoint. There's about 28% of the nation that is in that category of black or brown, give or take. You got 13 or 40% black, and then you've got around 11 to 15%. Nobody really knows for sure.
When you're talking about people of color, yeah, that's
Right.
pretty
And
accurate.
I think it's one
accurate
thing I
statement.
know, like from the stats that I've studied. I told you I do a lot of independent study about random crap.
Yeah.
Not crap, but stuff I'm interested in and think we all should know more
Statistics
about.
are cool.
Yeah. And one thing that's gotten to me, especially recently in recent years, is that because of the history of black versus white in America, I feel like the Hispanic vote is really overlooked sometimes. Not recently, especially with what Trump is going through. So not recently, I think Trump is what's bringing the Hispanic vote more to the front line. Because you think of America as white, black, and other, but African Americans are the
That's
third.
a good way. That's a good way.
Yes,
minority.
sir.
That's a good way to say
We
it.
are
Yes,
the
sir.
third minority in America. If you can get, if you were going to get a minority vote, if you were to focus on a minority vote as a president, to be
Look at that American flag shirt. She needs applause.
She's probably wearing it
impressive.
as an insult, though.
to be,
That's the problem.
if you had to, if I was to
stained
run for
and dirty.
president and I needed a minority
I won't burn the
vote,
flag.
it would be the brown vote, the Hispanics vote.
Yeah.
Hispanics outnumber outnumber African Americans, and that's counting legal Hispanics.
And we're talking about 1.5 to 1 there. It's
Well,
a
and you know-
significant
and you know
amount.
what?
It's
You know
not
what?
just like 7% and 8%. It's like 7% and like 11 or something.
And
like
you know what Trump did during his first election
13.
cycle, and what he's going to do again, what he's been doing the whole time, is Trump has been talking directly to certain voters. He talks directly to them. So, for example, the Latino voter and the black voter, he's basically said when he was getting in 2016, he basically said to them, "What do you have to lose?" Now, a lot of people said to him, "Oh, that's cold and disheartened." But the truth of the matter is, he was stating fact. What have you gotten before me? What have you received from this? But a bunch of welfare and keeping you pinned down and not letting you flourish and grow. What have you gotten before? Nothing. Take a chance.
And that's the same argument
Take a chance.
It's the same argument with black voters right now. If you look at the largest racial group that are expanding in business, it's black people.
Yeah, you go to Atlanta. It's the
There are
Mecca-
so
it's the
many
Mecca
black
of
entrepreneurs
business.
right now.
Atlanta is the Mecca of black business, and there's a reason for it. We're not talking about little small business. We're talking about corporations and
Yes.
big businesses. Black is hiring black. Black is supporting black. They're investing in black support. That's why Atlanta is growing so big and is so prominent in the country right now. You go to Atlanta.
Well,
Anywhere,
and
it's a
you've-
very pristine, beautiful city.
And you've got smart people making smart business decisions with that.
And you do, and you have rappers and actors going to
Yes.
Atlanta, opening businesses, and then investing in other black business people.
Sure.
It's amazing. That's what has to happen. That lesson that's being taught in Atlanta, in my opinion, if you do that throughout the nation, everything levels off, man, because money makes everything even. It really does.
And you know,
It's giving them a voice.
Yeah.
And you know, one thing you said about what you said earlier about what do you have to lose? And we were looking at like
Yep.
one thing that a lot of presidential candidates end up getting into it about is like who's going to help the people the most.
Right.
And then the people who are voters, the people,
Yep.
end up throwing rocks at each other about whether they should be helping people, like whether or not certain social security payments are good for America or not.
You see
So
it a lot
some-
with the SNAP stuff.
Some candidates will be like, I plan on giving this much to citizens, and then the voters, some voters will be like, yeah, I need that, while other voters will be like, you shouldn't want that.
Right.
And that tears the voters apart. But you kind of what the candidate says kind of has to be based on where they think America is now, and they know it's going to cause a divide, so they got to pick which side they think has more people to it. The you shouldn't want that, or the I want to have that.
It's not altruistic. It's self-centered.
Exactly. It's always going to be that way. And I got a post on Facebook, and I loved it, and I shared it, and I made it a post of my own. And it was someone posted. They said it was a screenshot from a whole nother social media page. Someone said, "What is looked upon as classy if you're rich, but sad or bad if you're poor?"
Right.
And someone commented and said, "Taking money from the government." And I was just like, that's
a good point.
actually right. You
With
know,
what just happened, it's
if
true.
the government gives you money and you're rich, it's like, yeah, you know, the president decided to support my thing with this and pull me out of this because he saw me as such a great influence on America. But you know, when you're poor and you receive money or help, assistance from the government, it's like, how come you couldn't just get it yourself?
Man,
you know?
I'm a lawyer now, but 10 years ago, well, it's a little longer than 10 years ago, I was on food stamps. I had a kid out of wedlock. I was working 6 jobs during the week, 6 part-time jobs because that was all I could get.
I don't get tired.
People
I
need
thought of Kevin Gates.
People need help. And you've got the
6
government
jobs.
has to
I
be
don't
there to
get
help those
tired.
people that are really trying to work.
And you know,
And you can't take it away from them.
like in the anyone who knows me, like knows me, knows that I can be very prideful sometimes against my own like help.
Yeah.
Like I will turn down assistance or help from people because
Turn down for what? Oh,
I'm
sorry.
more one of those people who's like, a man should be
The
out
hell's wrong with
there
me?
earning his money, getting a job, and doing this and that and all that. You know, so even in a time where I had just got out of surgery, as soon as I was able to walk again, you know, I was trying to get a job, and that hurt me a lot. And a lot of my family was like, just sit down and take your disability check. Now, I have nothing against receiving disability check because it helped me. It saved my life. But I kind of had just a feeling that, like, you know, I needed to earn my own money.
Personal pride.
And even though that's a personal pride thing, there's also the thing that, like, it's like when if I really had to decide what was going on in the world right then, receiving that disability check saved my life because it was right after my divorce. And, you know, I had lost my job because of the surgery and all that. So
Why
I
don't you
didn't
just
have an
go get
income.
another job?
I didn't, yeah, it was like, I tried to get another job, but with my disability, I couldn't,
You were persona non grata.
I was,
Yes.
exactly, I
But
was
when you use
restricted.
Latin, it's so exciting.
Man, don't touch me.
Whatever, mister. You're on my show. I will touch you if I want to.
You know,
Isn't that how it
Something as
works?
simple as like, can
When
you
you're rich,
raise
you just
a
get to touch
50-pound
them.
box up above your head? I couldn't answer yes
grab
to
them
that.
by-
Yeah, exactly.
Because I
And
have
and
a
you're
metal
gone.
shoulder. I have
High
a metal
five.
shoulder, and I can't raise my left arm higher than this. I can raise my left arm higher than this. So just that simple question of, can you raise?
How
a
will you
50-pound
ever
box
do the
over your
thing,
head?
man?
And
Right hand.
then you're in the gray area because you can't raise that 50-pound bag over your head, so they won't hire you. But at the same time, you could sit in a chair and
Oh, is he
and
only
lift
good enough
10
to carry a
pounds.
bag? I'm just joking.
And now you have to go find that job in this area. It's not always the
so,
easiest thing.
So here's the thing. What I love from that most, man, is your life experience twist on it because you actually have experience with that and kind of how it went. I think that's amazing. And the whole point of this is it's all about perspective. It's all about how you view stuff and look at stuff. So we're going to move to the next thing. You are watching Session Stream live from Shaker's Bar, downtown Cape. We are now on several podcast formats. You can find us on most of them now. We're hooked up with Anchor, so Anchor is now sharing us as we speak.
You can download Anchor and Apple onto your phone and listen to it while you drive offline.
There you go. Thank you for the safety tip there, Matt. You're always good for that. Matt, I'm going to turn to you on this one there, you beautiful man with a sexy scar on your upper eyeball there.
For those of you who are listening right now, I'm running my hand through my hair.
And it's luscious.
No, I am
blind
running my hair.
viewers appreciate
I'm
that.
running my hand through your hair. Let's not be
The blind
coy.
viewers don't appreciate
Let's not be
that.
coy.
While we're talking about
He's
Brandon's
just trying to
hair,
sniff it and smell me and steal my
Why
stuff.
you
Am I the
talking
only
on
one who's-
Stevie?
Am I the only one
Talking
who's
to me,
noticed that the left side of his
Dude, I've had this fucking problem.
I have the
for-
same thing over here, bro. Look, I have the same thing over here. I can't grow so much on this side.
I don't
Oh, did I push it back?
That was from a
No,
face shot in a
I-
porno. You got a face
Listen,
shot on that
listen,
side.
I've been
It
trying to
doesn't
like.
connect
I
quite
know
right.
it's fucking annoying as fuck to me.
So we're gonna move on to the next subject.
No,
So
you saw
I
it.
just have a
You saw
person who
it.
takes care of my beard for me.
name and
Zach,
friends you on Facebook and try
Araya,
to
Zach
report your
Gary, Zach Mazade is
recorded it?
awesome.
No, I
as
tried
we-
to.
Anyway, I don't know what's.
So what do you have?
I'm
for
getting ready. It's you two. We're gonna go to you two.
Saying I can't have
fight?
friends.
So
You got
Is-
another eye.
is
Someone, thank
Trump
you, Vesper.
too transparent?
In fact, he's opaque. I've been trying to put on this layer of makeup for a while.
I was hoping you
That's
would do
why I'm
that.
not wearing the mask.
I have this
It
noted
will
here.
rub off and you'll see
Brandon
my
will do
Cheetos.
Brandon will do imitation at this point. So my question is he too transparent?
Transparent in what regard?
Does he talk about stuff too
Biden would
much?
say cavalier.
Does he talk about stuff too much?
Too open.
So here's the reason being. So during this whole crisis with COVID,
Sure.
this whole scamdemic, I'm going to say that as much. I'm going to hashtag that, man. That's mine. If anybody else says it, it's mine. During this whole
more
pandemic,
hate for it.
I know, right? People are so hateful. Like, I could say something racist right now, which I would never do, but I could. And if I said scamdemic in the same sentence somehow,
That would be.
You're going to
That
get
would be
slammed
the
for
thing.
scamdemic, man. You
Hashtag
can't
I
say
know.
anything.
Oh, I've said scamdemic for a while. So, is Megan messaging?
Someone said hi to Eric, and I said no one says hi to me, and with a smiley face. So now I'm getting all these.
Who
hi's.
said? Wait, who said hi, Eric? Who's that? I want to say hi.
I don't
No.
on here.
Oh, they didn't say hi, Eric. Nobody says hi, Eric. It might have been Mark.
Eric.
Might have been Mark Chester. Hey, thanks, man.
Hey, buddy.
So is Trump too transparent? Is he too transparent in the fact that he gives he gives more press conferences? I looked it up. He gives 3 times more press conferences than any other president. Is he too transparent? Does he talk about too much? Does it come across like he's trying to
I don't
cover
think he
for
talks
something?
about enough.
Really?
Yeah, I agree with Zach.
Good God, dude! Like seriously, he gives more.
He can
press-
talk forever about nothing.
Here's the thing.
That's the point.
I just
like,
exploded
You give
away
me
from the table.
You give me a mic, and I can go on and on about anything and make it sound official.
What?
You say anything with conviction, and people will follow you.
I think that Trump learned what filibuster is, and that's all he does.
well, that's look. That's the business.
all he
Look,
fucking does.
that's the
Filibuster
deal.
is a
Listen,
powerful tool.
I'm good at
in
We've
We've got a
political-
super duper missile that we're going to be launching very, very soon.
Have you-
Everybody's going to be happy with the sport.
have you read the?
Speaking
Have
of-
you read the Art of the Deal?
Okay,
Okay, I have. And I'm going to tell
Very
you
much so.
part of the art of the deal. Part of the
He's right.
business deal
Rather
is
read Art of War.
you cause a business meeting to last so long that the people wear down. That's part of the art of the deal. You have to be able to speak on stuff and carry a conversation and keep it going to where people have to stay in the room. So if you're on $1 billion deal or $1 million building deal, if Trump is standing up in a room giving this soliloquy on why his name needs to be on a building and why this and why that, the people in the room have to stay because they want the deal.
I gotta- hang on.
People during COVID, while he's giving these updates, I do quote updates because I
Yeah,
think
'cause they're
it's
bullshit.
Well, but it would be for any president.
There is no
that's
update.
that's the problem. It's the same shit every day, just
every
different.
update is just
Eric used the
more
word
people
soliloquy, and I want to properly, and I want
It's
to toast
not
That
that.
makes me
Brothers
sound like
toast.
the backwoods. I use big words sometimes. You big meanie.
You used it properly too.
I
Yeah,
did.
new
Yeah.
tradition. Anytime Eric uses a big word, it's a shot.
Properly.
You know, I'm glad that I have big
To
shoulders.
be honest, I
and
was
you know what? I
actually
want to
proud that
say,
everyone at the table knew
screw
what
anybody that has a
filibuster
car
is.
that looks like
Yeah.
a police car. That's not a police car.
That is
Screw
a,
you.
That is a police car.
I was kind of
That is
proud
not a
of us,
police
like,
car.
That's a taxi.
educated men.
That is a taxi.
Get the fuck out.
No, that's a taxi from Illinois. Actually, they're not. There's no one to drive in Illinois, so they're over here on the river.
I don't
to
think
do it.
he's too transparent at all. Because if you actually listen to these updates, if you will, he's really not saying shit.
But does a president
That's
ever
his-
say?
that's
listen,
pointed.
That is. But does he ever do?
Not in many
Does
moves.
any political leader, anybody that leads he's the new Republican Party. If anybody that leads a Republican a party of anything, do they ever say anything really?
No.
Substance.
Not in many moods.
Right.
The last guy who led a party that like said things that were, you could tell there was like no transparency, and you knew exactly what the fuck he was doing. I would say had to be the 40s.
I was going to say Ronald Reagan.
Reagan, yeah,
I think
I'm with you on that.
I agree on Reagan. Reagan
All right.
was the last one I think that actually he did the sis boom rah rah cheerleading shit, but he also legitimately, honestly, I think he was like.
Look, I love Reagan, but I think
Americanism
Reagan
and-
was real good at like watch this hand, while he fist you with this one.
Well,
Hey,
but
man.
see, it's a lot of bait and switch when you're running the country, man. There's a lot of.
Prepare the
think-
fist of fury.
You know, a lot of people get at Trump, give Trump a bad time, saying he doesn't behave presidential, even if his policies are good and everything.
Right.
He doesn't behave presidential. And you know, one thing I have to say about that is, I don't think we've ever really had that president that would, like, who sets the standard for behaving presidential? I think
Kennedy.
I think what. Actually, but I think
You
what
mean on
Trump is
camera
doing
like
right now.
because it wasn't behind.
I
the
think
scenes.
what
Oh no,
Trump is
behind the
doing-
scenes, not at all.
he
I think
was
what
he
Trump
was
is
Jeffrey
doing right
Epstein
now
for
is-
women, like
Dude,
yeah.
Kennedy
Didn't we have a
behind
whole
the
talk
scenes
about
was my
interrupting
boy.
stuff?
I want to hear what the man has
we
to say.
did.
Like,
We
I do
y'all
wanna
have
hear
a whole
this.
nother conversation.
We did, and I'm part of it. Sorry.
I have so many jokes that
We,
would go
um,
over so bad right now.
I think Trump is leading in a whole new type of presidency for America, and I'm looking forward to seeing what's going to happen, because I think, especially since like Bush and 9/11 and Clinton and all that, you know, I think a lot of stuff became what conspiracy is the president going on right now. Like, literally, we can go through every presidency and see, like, and talk about a conspiracy that everyone was talking about. But, like, I feel like Trump is more like, oh, here's a candidate, we're in a debate, I don't like you. I just want to open the debate by saying, Zach, you're dumb, I'm smarter than you, and I'm going to win the debate. Now, what's your opinion?
So he said.
Like-
So Trump is doing and saying things that a lot of normal everyday Americans sit around and do to each other when you're having a
Yes.
conversation.
Here's the thing.
He's coming across, and this is a very New York way to be.
It's just
If
that
you-
No,
It
it's a
really
very
is.
northeastern way to be.
well, it is, but New York specifically, because if you look at other New
they bring a certain
Yorkers,
flair
It's
of
kind of like the
cocksuckery.
exact comment, the status that I made. You
Yeah.
know, I think it's better to be I think it's better to be a dick to your enemies than to be, pretentious around them, than to
Well,
pretend like you love them.
And you
We
get
don't
a
need the
sense-
pretense. We don't.
But look, you
Exactly,
get
pretentious, especially in such a high office, can lead you to an area you didn't want to
get
be
a
in.
sense
it
that-
can take you somewhere because you got to hold that pretense. Once you start that pretense, you got to hold that pretense. It's better. I think
Right.
it's better
Because
off to
otherwise
start
you're a
off-
flip-flopper.
So,
yeah, it's
I
better
know-
off to start off as a dick and everyone just know you a dick than to be pretentious, kissing babies, hugging them, and
But
then
is
everyone
he-
finds out
Here-
you're a
here's
racist.
the
is
thing,
he a
there was-
dick though? Is he a dick? Is he?
No,
a
that's
dick?
what everyone says.
Right,
That's what
right.
everyone says.
So-
I think he's just American.
But is he?
I think he's just American.
He is. He
We're
is.
all like
he
that.
is. He is the exact
We all think we
description
know more
of
than the
what
other one.
capitalism is and what this country was built on, which is that bold, say rash, crazy crap, and then make as much money as you can. That's American.
So I said this before he was even elected. He's going to be our coffee table president. And that's exactly what the fuck he is.
100%.
He says the same shit we all talk on at our dinner table
Yep.
behind our doors, and it's okay for
The
us
most
to fucking
memes
say
and
it.
the most-
yeah,
yeah.
and it's okay for us to say it because we're just at our coffee table. We're sitting around with a bunch of friends saying the same damn thing. The difference is you put a New Yorker there.
Why is your shit different than my
You
shit?
put a New Yorker who
When we
doesn't
open
give
it, we
two
all have,
fucks,
like, different
but he's a
times.
Hey,
businessman.
didn't we just talk about interrupting people and having side conversations?
Oh no, that's cool.
No, I just wanted to get him because he did that.
No, that's
fine.
fine. It's his
Everybody's
privilege.
kinda on a different
It's his
time.
privilege.
I'm not getting the
it's your
same
privilege,
stuff
Lamont.
here. I didn't
Lamont,
get
You
that.
just pulled out the privilege thing.
I didn't get any of that.
Yeah, everybody's got a different thing. Some people have like the what you call it when it's on the screen.
Yeah.
The words.
So,
you're right.
But that's the thing. Now, no one has a problem saying it at the table. So what makes a difference? What? Because he's a world leader.
Well, and that is a very good
Yeah, there's
point,
a thing
Zach.
called decorum.
There's
well,
not,
but
though.
here's
There's
the
an
thing.
ideal of it.
I think people got tired of decorum, bro. I think people got tired of.
that's why you got elected.
Well, but I
tired of
talked
bullshit.
I talked to a friend of mine
Sambuca.
that actually knew me when I was a kid. She was kind of like a second mom to me, and I talked to her. I'm not going to say her name because I'm trying to get her to come on the show, and I want to scare her off. But I was talking to her because she posted something about this very thing. Trump is not polished. He is not. He has no etiquette. He has his own way of saying things and doing things. But people got tired of that polished politician speak. And no offense to anybody, but Obama
I
was
think
that.
I was just gonna say, I think Obama was the best at it.
He was amazing at it.
Obama was the clean.
Because we came from
Never
Bush.
lost his temper.
Bush was like, oh, what? Like he was
Bush
the
was an idiot.
confused.
Bush was an idiot.
But here's the problem with Bush. Trump gets called an idiot, but Trump actually acts that way on purpose. Bush did it by accident. He just naturally was kind
That
of.
motherfucker made up his own
And
words.
did you notice as the line of Bushes went down, how much dumber they got? Jeb Bush is so dumb, and
Florida
Bush,
man.
Florida man. That's the thing is talking about that's proof right there. If Jeb Bush was governor of Florida, you can literally buy that position because that's how he had to get that.
Yeah, same way with Illinois.
I love the debates with Trump and him. Oh, you think you're tough? Yeah, it goes over real good, Jeb. You think you're tough?
Sambuca bombs.
Do I do them?
What do we usually do?
It's Sambuca and energy.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's god awful, but you
Is
know
that what we drink?
No, that is not what we usually have. But these
do we usually
these ingrates are over there
Tunica.
going to bring us
Oh,
crazy
my bad.
crap. All right. So to finish that up, you're very correct about that, and so are you. Coffee table president is the exact thing that he is. He is like the what we're doing here. He's like having the conversation, smoking a cigar, talking bullshit. The thing about it is about Trump is everybody, even people that can't stand his presence, he says something that piques interest. He is a tabloid president. He legitimately is a guy.
I think he makes you question whether you're being true with your own opinion as well.
Exactly. He's a master at that.
This is something that I saw said on a show, and I think it translates into our world. It's you can't believe someone or know someone based on what they say or what they think. You can only judge someone based on what they do.
Yeah, that's it.
Yes.
I just want to surround him with it.
Yes.
Wait, say that
amen.
again. I didn't hear you. Say it again. I'm sorry.
You can't trust or know somebody based only on what they say or what they think. You can only believe someone based on what they do.
So, by that standard, which I'm glad you said that, Damon agreed with you, isn't Trump a great president because of that?
He's accomplished a lot.
Right, he has. And here's the thing.
that's
I
not
hate
an
him as a
answer.
person.
That's
I
not an
absolutely.
answer.
It's not.
I think
I
he's.
give
I
him
think he's a
credit for
horrible
saying it.
person, but I think he's a good president.
But is he?
There it is.
Here's the thing. He's a horrible person in the sense that we want our leaders to be a certain way, But if you let that go, because no president is a great person. You
No.
talk about
No politician is.
I think Bush
At
was
least
in the
on the-
Skull and Crossbones Society at Yale, and he set up an underground government that wanted to do a new world order. I really do. I think Bush was part of that, and it never went through.
I'm bearing gifts.
Tell me this is not the what you were saying before.
No, Sambuca, no.
Oh.
Thank
Thank you, Megan, for not doing
I mix
that.
up tunica and sambuca in my mind for some reason. I don't know why.
'Cause they sound
Also the
alike.
fact- There's also
Isn't
the
it
fact
Tuaca? Is it
that,
Tuaca?
you know, I think it can go back to something as simple as you can't compare apples to oranges. It's kind of like if you look at your science teacher and your math teacher and try to guess.
But Trump
and
is
try
an
to say
eggplant.
hold up, and try and say
Eggplant.
who's the smartest. You know, they teach different subjects. They studied in different subjects. For instance, like I think if we all picked a topic. I mean, I believe from what I heard, you're a lawyer, right?
Mm-hmm.
I believe there's a topic out there. He's a lawyer. You know, one of those jobs, you know, people kind of look at it as like, oh man, they smart, you know. But I believe there's a
Good thing
topic out there.
Good thing Matt's here to spell all that.
There's a topic out there that I could probably, you know, outsmart Matt in. And
Sure.
there's a topic he can outsmart. And
Of course.
And it goes around the table. You know, we all have our talents and our pros and our cons. So I do want to say,
know
while
what
I
it
am a open Trump supporter, you know, there are things other presidents did better. But I think there's things that Trump did better than all those presidents, you know.
So as the job
And I
goes,
just think that's something we need to acknowledge. When people try to compare presidents, it's like the time has changed. The state of America, the state of the world has changed.
so as the job goes, the job itself as the president, what did Obama do well in the job itself? Not the speeches, not all that, but unless that's part of it for you. To me, the speeches aren't really part of it because I'm sorry, I've watched some really inspirational presidential ads, and Trump's are bumbling to me. They sound kind of silly to me. I still support the guy, but his ads are kind of faux American. They kind of sound fake to me, like a tabloid fake.
Trump's speeches, I have to say, to be honest, I do kind of watch more on the side to see what's gonna, kind of like the new episode just came out, like, oh, what's gonna happen now?
What's he gonna say in
He
this
wants
speech?
you to think that too.
Yeah,
But you know,
yeah.
Hey,
watch.
shut your face.
Wow! Don't tell. Hey, you just used your privilege.
Hashtag privilege, yeah. I was there.
Welcome to it.
Everybody gets one.
Oh, I'll get a lot.
Don't. I have to ask that question.
But I think what President Obama did better, like, honestly, you said if you take out the speeches and everything, I do think he presented himself more presidential to what
sure.
we expect to see.
Right.
Because what's really the standard of presidential? I feel like as long as you're taking care of your country and getting the job done, that's presidential.
Right.
But he came off more as to be looked upon as a leader.
Right.
You know,
He
that
sounded more
calmness.
educated, more
He
calm.
sounded much
Well,
smarter.
but what is our expectation of a president? And that's the thing.
But I think by what
I think
they
that's the
presented
reason.
themselves to be and what they said they were going to get accomplished in their campaigns and everything, I think in the not even finished first 4 years of Trump's, I think he's done more than Obama.
Well,
Yeah, he has.
anybody who is sitting there sniping at Trump, saying that he's making us the laughing stock of the world, didn't pay attention for the 8 years prior because everyone was saying the exact same thing.
Yeah,
and the 8 years prior to that, they were still saying that.
See, the world is filled with haters in general. We see it all over social
You know,
media.
the one thing I will say though, Trump didn't give a line and then back down.
No, he doesn't back off his
He gave
stuff.
you the motherfucking Moab. That's what he did.
He does. He says it, and then when he gets called on, he's like,
That was
"You are wrong."
That was my biggest fucking issue with Obama. Here's a line. Don't cross it. I'm sorry.
Iran. Excuse me.
Yeah.
Here's the line.
That was terrible.
Don't cross it.
Yeah. So you are listening to sessions streamed live on Facebook, but also now we have a podcast going. So if you're catching us later on the podcast, thank you for joining us on all the podcast formats you can find us. We started this show as a way to show people where you can sit around a table, have a couple of drinks, and express opposing views, similar views, and have a conversation. And we're going to get to some very serious stuff here real soon because it's important. But I wanted to bring up a couple things real quick. Good. One thing I just want to make a side note on something, and it was brought up on a news program. But this generation that's coming up now, the younger, the teenagers and the 20-somethings, they should be super pissed about.
There's Z, right?
Is it Z?
Millennials and Zs.
Is
We're
it Z?
millennials, and the ones after us.
We're
are
OG
Z's.
millennial.
Yeah, I'm Z. I'm a millennial.
So everybody has a label now, so that's good.
Boomer.
Yeah, no, I'm Generation X,
I'm
so
gonna say he's
screw
X.
off, pal.
He's
Millennials.
I'm right on the
I'm
line.
X. I'm X with a B next to the X. Is that what it is?
X beta.
Screw you. All right. So this generation, in my opinion, should be very very pissed about the situation in the world, because not only are they getting screwed out of educational opportunities, there are some teachers talking about not going back in August and September. And when they talk about the new normal and everything, this generation is getting the shaft because of all of this stuff with COVID, and it's at the expense of their well-being and their success, and they're playing along with it. Like, they're going along with it. They don't realize the trap they're in, and I think that is a political. When COVID became political, which is almost from the start, the youth that were playing along with it, that kind of fell into it. There's a side to, I think, every young person that is coming up in the world that actually looks at social events, and they just stay pissed about everything. They literally just stay pissed, and they're getting screwed because their opportunities for future things are different now. It's way different.
I know you didn't expect me to be the one to speak on this, especially this particular way, because I'm not a conspiracy theorist. But let me tell you, this is being done to design. Because of the way things are, we're talking about a very small geographic area that is the hotbed.
Yeah.
We're talking about a very large geographic area that is feeling the effects of it.
Right.
We're talking about keeping kids out of school. What we're really talking about is going back to a one income family household and making people dependent on the government. That's what's happening with this.
Well, and that's the thing.
That's an interesting take, especially coming from you.
That is very interesting, and here's the thing: you've got forces at play that are making decisions for the country, which affects all of us. And the forces at play cannot get together on anything.
They flip-flop 4 or 5 times on various things about this disease because they don't know enough about it. And we're already talking about not having damn school.
Because they stopped caring about the whole, like the disease itself. It became not the disease. It became how can we control the disease? And that's exactly what it became, and that's the problem.
You know, these people who constantly, you know, like I said, the woman who told me that it's our fault the disease is us who still go to work as essential workers. It's our fault the disease is still going. We should just riot and stay home and let the government take care of it. And I'm like, you know what? If you think the people in jail get because that's an example of the government controlling your situation, your life. The people in jail, I wouldn't say they get the food that they get simply because, you know, they don't look at it as like, let's not serve them good food. They've done bad things. It's like, we have a budget, and the government, if the government was to be the ones to feed the world, the country, they still have a budget. You're not going to be getting that, you know, saying your lifestyle's going to change. You're going to be getting the same damn thing those people in jail are getting. That sandwich with warm mayonnaise. Warm mayonnaise is never good.
We're not even holding the people in jail right now. I'm a defense attorney, and we're giving people a $25,000 cash or surety bond for shooting at people.
Let's
come on.
I just think it's like people want to take that lazy road and just be like, it sounds really good to say, let the government take care of you. But when you look at what's going to happen and what's it going to evolve into, it's not good.
Well, and that's why I say more people need to do what we're doing and get together and talk, because the true power in this country, the reason this country is what it is because of people. It has nothing to do with government. Government was made from the people to help the people progress in their lives, and we've lost that. And once the people take back power, and we're going to get into this in a second, once the people start deciding, we're not going to let politicians and authorities make decisions for us, we're going to take back the power and make the decisions, then what you start having is, then politicians fear the electorate. They fear us. And when a politician fears you, they either...
Let me say the quote. Let me say the Guy Fawkes.
Go ahead.
The people need not be afraid of the government. The government needs to be afraid of the people.
And
every bad thing that has happened to every person from the government has been because we didn't go regulate the government, or we allowed the government to appoint people that were unregulated.
And it's
Can
our.
I invite some? I'm finna invite some hate towards myself so bad.
Oh, bring it.
Depending on who's watching or who's going to be watching, I am going to invite some. This is going to bring some hate to me. But I've been open to those who know me about this. When you look at the Civil War, and like I told you, it was one of the things that I took a semester of my life to independently study. I always pick something and study that for half a year, and then pick a new topic and study that. I just try to always stay educated on something. And one time I chose the Civil War and took 6 months and studied that. And when I got done, what I felt like was, yes, I'm totally against slavery, but when you look at the way it all came up, the Civil War wasn't brought about mainly because of slavery, but because
Taxation.
of states' rights, and the way that, like, which is kind of why America was formed. You know, the government had that control. King George went on a spending spree. He wanted the colonies to pay for it.
If it was really about slavery, the South wouldn't have enacted Jim Crow laws.
Thank you.
Exactly. What it was about was and then you got to look at the fact that America kind of evolved and technology evolved, and you know the cotton gin came, which made the North people who didn't
George
need
Washington
slaves,
Carver.
people who didn't need slaves, the North. I mean, and nobody
Pretty sure
needs
it's Eli
slaves.
Whitney.
Nobody
It was.
needs
Hey,
slaves.
I'm
So
saying
I'ma
George
say-
Washington Carver because
And
it's
I'm pretty
peanut
sure
butter.
his people love the fuck out of Eli
Okay.
Whitney.
Yeah.
I don't want to
Who's
say
his
people
people?
who need slaves. I want to say those people who had those farms and needed many workers. They didn't, so they of course had a bias towards, you know, people who did have slaves. Because, you know, they never required that many hands-on in their life. You know, they had jobs at corner stores and stuff, you know, so they didn't know about farming. So it became a farm versus industry thing, or industry versus farming thing, which is what the Civil War
Hey, I'm just going to say I think you're too smart for the show. You have to go.
Okay, I'm going to end it real quick.
I have never been more offended.
I know.
In my life.
I am offended
I'm
by
gonna
your
end it-
intelligence.
Okay, I'm going to end it
Your
real
I'm
quick.
offended
intelligence.
you've never told me
It
that.
frightens me.
I'm
told me
ending
that
it.
either.
I'm ending it. Okay, but what I think is, like, you got to look at the fact that we all live different lives. So all the people who lived a life that didn't need all those
I would
hands,
vote for you right now.
all the people
if
who
you were
lived a
running
life
for
that
something-
didn't need those hands were against
You
slavery.
hateful prick.
And then when industry came to where cotton gin came, you know, and made it easier to remove seeds from cotton, you know, people thought that would really turn slavery down, but that just made it to where you can use more cotton in a day, so slave owners wanted more slaves.
Yeah.
So my
it made the
my
situation
question is
Where the government thought they were
Cotton
helping, they
or
made
silk?
it worse. And I think Civil War actually.
It depends on what part of my body it's on.
Slavery. Because
Mike.
people in the North started getting drafted to fight in this black man's war. So the people in the North who weren't initially racist started getting mad because they were getting drafted to fight. White men were getting drafted to fight for black men, is what a lot of people looked at it as. So then people in the North started becoming racist. Civil War actually brought more racism to the North than ever had been in the North.
Right,
And
right.
one thing to piss a lot of people off, the Confederate
wait,
States
you haven't done that yet?
were Democrats.
I know.
Yeah.
So let's
Abraham Lincoln was looked at as the first Republican of the first president of the anti-Republican Party.
You're never going to convince me that people
The
just switched
anti-Republican-
parties.
So let's-
the
it didn't happen.
anti-slavery Republican
So
Party
part of
was-
my job is host and mediators to move the subject along.
I'll stop talking so
No,
long.
you're good. You're good. I appreciate
have
what
one
you
thing
said.
to add, just
Oh,
'cause I've
good
been sitting
Lord,
on it
Trump!
for a minute.
Come on,
A dick?
No. Maybe.
it's not that big.
to sit on.
Not that big.
Sloppy.
No, listen.
Come on, he's in my shape. You
All
don't have big
I've
dicks.
wanted to add, but I've been letting you guys talk because I don't want to interrupt anybody. So, basically, all I wanted
You're
to
so
add.
good looking.
Thanks, bro.
He is a good looking
I
guy.
just wanted to
for
add
real.
that we all are way too comfortable giving away our security and our privacy and
You're
our
still on
freedom.
this.
Or I'm sorry, we're
He
we're
is.
giving up our freedoms
We're gonna-
for security,
We're gonna do this in
and
a
it's
second. Hold
bullshit.
on.
Still on this.
I'm
All right.
fucking pissed about it.
All right,
That's
so
a whole
real,
show.
Real quick, it is a whole
But
show.
it goes with
we're gonna talk
what we're
about that.
talking
We're gonna
about.
talk about that here for real
We
quick.
give it up because we'd rather be taken
All right.
care of.
See, I'm just pissed off I
But
can't
it's
work in my
it's
fucking
terrible.
office.
So-
We're giving the government too much power.
All right, so let's move on real quick because we're gonna make quick mention of that because we're gonna add that to another show. By the way I do my notes is if something we don't talk about, I can leave it on here and then we'll add to something as we go. So when are the Dems gonna bring out the real candidate?
Yeah, I don't know when fucking Biden
I-
gets killed or dies
Wow.
or fuck.
You're going to get in trouble.
Look,
Well, he's not a Dem anymore.
He's
I
one
know.
of us. One of us.
look, I lost all respect for the left when Biden, when the Dems are literally holding up Biden's corpse.
Hey, Joe Biden is going to beat Joe Biden.
Hold
Weekend
on,
at Bernie's.
hold
It's
on.
weekend at
I have a
Bernie's.
quote.
It's weekend at Bernie's.
Joe Biden suggests black Trump voters ain't black. I'm abandoning the left. I've had enough. I don't know who said this, but
Was it
Don't you talk about
BE.
corn pop.
It
I
was
said
BE.
it. I said it.
BE.
It was way too much. The dude, they shouldn't have. First of all, the dude had some serious cognitive
And then he
problems.
blamed the black guy.
Fuck the Dems
Hey,
for even raising him to be
wait,
their candidate.
wait, wait, wait.
What I'm saying right now.
And here's the worst part of it is, after on CNN when he got called on, that guy didn't stop at a stop sign. I'm so sick of that shit. Please get down here. After he pointed out he went on CNN, he did an interview, and they called him on it, and he basically addressed the issue. He blamed Charlemagne the God for it because Charlemagne was acting up. Was being a
up.
character.
Excuse
he
me.
blamed the black guy doing the interview when Charlemagne's whole job is to make people do what he did, is to get you to expose and say who you are.
He gets riled up to where
I'm not a
can
big
be
fan of
reversed.
him.
You
I
gotta
think
just spit out
I think
what's coming to your
sometimes he
mind.
legitimately just says stuff to say stuff.
Oh yeah, he's a dick.
But he got Biden to say exactly what Biden thinks. And what I think is funny about it is when he did the interview on CNN, he actually blamed Charlemagne for what he said, which is the ultimate. Like his statement alone was racist.
It's gaslighting.
Well, it is gaslighting, and that's the problem. And that's reason I know that he's not the real candidate. I know he's just there because they have to have somebody. The real candidate's coming up in August. Anyway, we're going to move on.
The real thing is, let's be honest here. It's hard out there for a pimp, right?
It is hard out there for them.
Pimping ain't easy.
When you're
When you're trying to get the money for the rent, when all your Cadillac and gas money spent, and a whole lot of bitches jumping ship.
They do, man.
I've
They
actually
dumb
been
shit.
listening to Kanye all day, so I don't understand what's
Good for you,
happening
he's
right now.
converted.
Hard out there for a pimp.
All right, so
It was old school Kanye.
I want to address something real quick
The name's
before we
a
get
pimp
on.
named Slickback.
Before we
Say it
get
with
on
me
to
now.
the
Name
Slickback.
Just say the whole thing like a Tribe Called Quest.
to the meat of
Love that show.
of the
My
day.
favorite show.
Before we get on to the meat of the day, I want to say this, folks. For those of you that have made comments on Facebook about this and other social media, Trump can hire and fire whoever the hell he wants to. Stop picking and choosing when he hires and fires somebody. The whole goal when you become president is to have a team around you that supports your mission. And if the person doesn't support your mission, you fire him. This is the only place, he's the only guy in the world. If you go to IBM and you say, I like Microsoft, Microsoft has a better model, so I'm going to work over here, and you're at IBM or whatever computer company, and you believe in another computer company, you're going to be fired. You're not going to be there anymore. So
Obama fired every U.S. attorney from Bush's administration.
Yes, he did. Thank you for telling me that. And that's the thing is, whenever all of this stuff that you hear and see about Trump that becomes an issue and this media stuff, it's happened with every other president. What you guys have to realize when you're bitching and grinding on about Trump is you're turning him into a victim on everything. So if you truly want to beat Trump,
When you're the victim, you automatically win.
if you truly want to beat him, stop pouring everything on him. Try to find out one time what happens when you compliment him. Because I'm going to tell you right now, if CNN ever one time tried to tack in an interview like, you're doing a great job as a president, Trump would not know what to say to him.
He'd have had a whole thing set up for defending himself. So he'd have to improv right off the
Well,
dome.
he doesn't know. Yeah, and
Oh,
he doesn't.
Thank you. He'd have to say a nice thing about that.
he
reporter.
would, he would.
He would have to say something nice in return. He couldn't respond to
So-
"You're great" to "Well, I still think you're stupid." Now.
I do want to talk about Back to the Future. The only thing I will say is it's a movie that covers time travel and incest and makes them both seem awesome. I don't know if we're going to get to that.
Fuck your aunt. Of course it's awesome.
Okay, stop it. All right, let's get on to the meat of things. We all know that something that just happened up in Minnesota, in Minneapolis, this tragedy that happened on the street in front of everybody.
I actually don't know anything about this.
Okay, whatever.
Yes, you do. You just don't know. You know.
No, I really
Wait,
don't
just
know.
wait a second.
So a police officer, and in this case it was a white
I have
police
my
officer.
Facebook app deleted. So
Hang on, buddy. I got you.
Police officer spent about a good 5 or 10 minutes with his knee on the back of, on the neck of a guy, right? A black guy who they had already secured in handcuffs.
yeah, I don't care who you are or what color you are. You shouldn't do that.
Okay.
Yeah.
The problem
He
with
was
it
laying on
is
the pavement under the cop's
the
tire
problem with
his
it
knee
is
on the head, on
the
back
cop
of the
that
neck.
did it.
Unacceptable.
There were 4 cops that were there. There were only 2 on the camera. There were 2 others off the camera with crowd control.
All four
Dude's
have been
cuffed.
terminated.
All 4 have been
Dude's
terminated.
cuffed.
He's cuffed.
Yeah.
No reason.
And the problem is he was arrested for passing a fraudulent check for goods and something.
That was
Anyway.
Minneapolis last night.
Jesus. fucking Christ.
So what we want to talk about now, and it's very important, is I want to bring up the subject of this, but I want to start by putting this out there. I'm going to read a little bit of a monologue, and I don't do these all the time, but I read this. There's a movie about the Stanford prison experiment that I want to talk about briefly, and then I want to read this. Should cops have to face the same torture some of them dole out to people? Does the pressure put on law enforcement hold any responsibility for the ones that get tortured and killed? Is the killing intended or a consequence of the actions? Do cops want suspects to die, or do people push police to the breaking point so they can make an example out of them? Why do people riot after police brutality? So this is the little introduction to this. So what I want to do is I want to, and I don't want to stay on one person too long, and I don't want to control too much time, but I want to say this. We're going to be clear on this show that what happened in Minneapolis is a travesty. It is disgusting, and it is the worst thing that you can see. Not just because
I think we can all agree on that.
Not because it's just black and white. Because you had somebody in a position of power over another individual, complete control, and while you have that power and complete control, you take a man's life through torture. I don't care if it's black or white. Now, the fact that it is black and white, and I think here's my issue. This was so brazen and in the public eye that had it been a black officer on top of a black suspect, I think you would have had the same situation. In fact, the black officer would have been called Uncle Tom and sell out and all this stuff. We got to get things right. So the first thing that we can do, and I want to say this, what happened with Martin Luther King, the reason it worked with him is Martin Luther King understood that nothing was going to happen just with the black community. He had to bring in the white community at that time during civil rights.
Yeah.
There was no way. He had tried the other, and it didn't work.
Well, it's not just that time. It needs.
Sometimes
to be
you
now,
have to
too.
see the
And
riot to
that's
see
my
what's going to
point.
happen.
We are now revisiting that time, and what I want to say is this is something that had got covered over by COVID and other issues, but it's something that goes on. Look, I'm a big defender of the blue, man. I love cops. I think cops do a great job. And for the vast majority of cops, and I want to make this clear, they do a great job and they work very hard and they want to do the right thing. But just like any line of work or any human being, when you got human nature involved, this cop that had his knee on this guy enjoyed what he was doing by the look on his face. I'm not a psychologist. You've studied psychology. You watched the video. That look on his face, would you describe it anything other than pleasurable?
That's all it was.
He actually enjoyed what he was doing.
There's actually, and I don't know the exact term, but there's a term for like those people in powers, like judges and cops, for when they
It's
have
the,
that power and meet someone that doesn't have the authority to oppose that power.
Right.
It's kind of like that. Respect my authority. You know, it's like,
Yeah.
I have that authority. What you gonna do against it?
And that's
like
where
an angel
What I'm
death
doing is
complex.
is wrong. Can you really stop?
and this is where we have an issue in this country.
It's
and this
a bully.
and I want to bring up what I want to really put out what it is. The main issue is the media and politicians and the world in general want to make this about black and white. They want to make it black and white. But we have to talk about what the real issue is. It's not black and white.
It's shitty people
It's
and not shitty people.
and not shitty people and power imbalance. And the whole reason that cops become cops are supposed to be for
Protect and serve.
Protect and serve. And what we have to always educate and remind the police of is what their job is. Now, like I said, most of them, I believe, follow that creed. But I will say this: what has happened now, because of power imbalances and because of perceived threats against the law enforcement, which some of them are justified, they have now, some of them started acting out. And I will tell you this right now, that I know that there's a small group of individual police officers throughout the country that are small groups of people in each department that have this authoritative attitude towards everybody. And until we start sitting down together and we start re-educating and retraining police officers on how to deal with certain things. This gentleman that was tragically killed was killed because of they say it's a felony, but it was a minor thing. It was a fraudulent check. My fraudulent check issue is the fact that what is the the beginning. Now, if this guy had gone in with a gun, and if he had taken people hostage,
That's different.
put your, do what you need to do to solve the problem. But in this situation, and this is-
Restitution is what's necessary.
exactly, we have to start civilly and decently starting to educate each other and talk about what needs to happen in this country. So I want to go to Matt
I want to
first.
read a comment first from
Oh,
if that's cool.
go right
I
ahead.
just read
Go
that.
ahead.
I was,
Yeah, so we got a boomer on here, and he typed out, this officer has a history of abuse with those that had to be arrested, so this is just his makeup, unfortunately, but he needs to be charged with murder instead of not letting anything go with it. It's sad because this goes back to when we had race riots. This individual grew up during the time of like the Michigan race riots.
Carroll locally.
Yeah, the race riots.
Happen around here too.
Cairo, Illinois had a
Oh,
big thing. This
okay.
is one of the things they say that kind of ruined the city was all of the authoritative treatment, and then also the resulting riots.
Now, he continues on, he says, the only difference is that the race riots, the black people seemed to be fighting amongst themselves, but they didn't want the white people in their neighborhoods, and so when the white people to come in the neighborhoods, they would fight the white people. But they didn't have rioting that is like going on in Minneapolis.
Okay, so that's a good point because he's talking from experience of his history and what was going on in the nation, and that does point out an issue. And as I go to Matt here in a second, but if you live in a predominantly black community, there is and you can speak to this too, there is a predominantly a prominent thought process of people don't understand. They don't get it. They don't understand what it's like to be here. They don't care enough. They don't care enough to learn about it. And because of that, we don't care enough to tell them about it because they don't care. And my thing is first of all, Martin Luther King didn't accomplish what he did by not bringing white people into it. And I will say to everybody, if this is about race for you, what I will say to you, if you are a supporter of Black Lives Matter or whatever you support, if you are a Caucasian or a white person, and you have someone that is an African American or a black individual that is in your circle of friends, this is a time where you literally have to make yourself available for whatever you can do. And I will tell you what's most important. You fight for them. And I don't mean physical. I don't mean going out and the protests are ridiculous, but people are mad. But I will say that you fight with somebody. You show me an injustice and let me fight with you. So this is my starting of my fight. We will not allow any longer in this country people in power to take advantage of people that don't have power or perceived to not have power. So I'm saying, as a Caucasian male, as a business owner, I'm big on this in here. We don't have any of that that goes on in here, and I don't allow it anywhere around here. But as a white person, your job now is to understand what happened and to reach out and to try to do what you can to help. And as this settles down, eventually it will settle because everything does. As it settles down, you can't stop. You can't just say, okay, it's done in Minneapolis, we're done with it. You have to keep fighting and pushing for solutions. And what happens, and I think a lot of times in the communities that are suffering from this stuff, is people feel like they get forgotten. They don't care. And we can all sit here and listen to politicians talk about the forgotten man and woman and people that, but when you're in a community and you're a black person, some have a natural and sometimes
Dr. Dre said it best: whenever you let the animal out of cages.
Yeah, acceptable feeling that society has abandoned you, like the American life has abandoned you. You feel like every time you go somewhere that something happens to you. So what I want Matt to talk about real quickly is the legal side of this. When you're talking about what happened with the police officer and what should happen to him, and then also about the riots that happened afterwards. We all can agree, right, at the table, that stealing from Target is not a proper way of showing your angst and anxiety. It's not your anger. I get you're angry, and yes, you could be in the streets, and yes, you should, but more violence begets more violence.
I'm going to appease you for a moment
Go ahead.
and say, number one, the cop, especially the cop on the neck and the cops that held people back from intervening, which you want to do on a scene, but not in this situation, they're liable, 100%.
Yeah.
The looting and the rioting, I don't condone it, but I understand it. I understand that there comes a point, and I think we're at that point, especially beyond Michael Brown and Castillo and all those other folks, that you're not listening to us. We're going to show out so that you listen to us. I get that. I'm not going to one bit say this is wrong.
And the looting, and this is somebody wrote this, and I kind of understand it to a certain extent. I'm not going to agree that it's okay or condone it, but the looting is a strike against capitalism in this country. Mm-hmm. If you look at, some of them don't care. We're going to be honest.
That's what I was going
Yeah.
to say. I believe while some people do look at it as like, let's do something to get attention, some people might be like, oh, I heard they're going to do this because of this. Let's take advantage of that moment and
Right.
jump in there and get a TV from Walmart.
Right.
It's very easy to be on that side of it, and that's happening, but a lot of it is happening because, hey, people are dying. They're my people, and you're not stopping it. There's tons of good. The one thing I want to say, there's tons of good cops out there. There's a few bad cops out there. The good cops work with those bad cops every day. And it's your job, because no one else is closer to them, to stop it.
That's true.
Get them off the force. Unions stop representing these people when they take advantage of someone's race or someone's class or whatever it is.
Yeah.
Get them out of there.
Yeah, and
because once you do that, the problem goes away. This is racism, but there's also an element in there that can stop it.
Matt, when cops start standing up and speaking out about this stuff, when they actually start, and I'm not talking about union chiefs or chiefs of police or lieutenants, I'm talking about on the street cops.
Rank and file.
When they start giving interviews and talking to the media, and they start saying, look, I'm a cop, I love my brothers in blue, but that is not what I want. When they start saying that and they start standing up.
And when they start standing up for the people who haven't killed someone yet.
I want to say this. This is a post that a friend of mine wrote. And I got to tell you, this friend of mine, I'm not going to put his name out there because I haven't talked to him about saying it.
I know him and I like the post.
I'm going to say, the way I know his Facebook page to be, it's nothing to be taken serious at all. It's a joke. I follow him, and I don't follow a lot of people on Facebook. I follow him because I know when I get a notification that he posted something, I'm going to laugh. And he posted this earlier, and some of you guys might know him. I see we have common friends. So, he posted, I keep seeing people say, not all cops are bad cops. You can't paint them with a broad brush. For every bad cop, there are hundreds of good ones. And he says, to that, well, folks, the door swings both ways.
Yes, sir.
Not everyone who is pissed about people being killed by police is looting stores.
That's right.
I'm pissed about it. I have not looted a store. For every one looter, there are thousands of people who are peacefully protesting and have just had enough.
And are justified in that.
And are justified in that because, like you said earlier, you see what they mean and everything. I don't support the looting. But at the same time, I'm not going to argue with it. But I think there's a time and place, America, we became America because we were tired of what was going on with Great Britain, the mainland and everything. We tried to do it peacefully, but eventually it became war. We got tired of the government, the system, and eventually it turned into war. And to get to where we are now, we had to go through that war. So if you look at it like that with the looting, eventually it has to do something, but you have to make sure you're targeting the enemy. You're targeting the enemy.
And that's the Revolutionary War. The
a
Americans
lot of times,
targeted.
if they were to come down here and loot and throw stuff through your window and stuff, it's like you still understand the looting, but this bar, it doesn't represent that culture of what they're trying to fight against.
No, I get your point is well taken, and I agree with you. And like I said, I don't condone the rioting. I don't condone the violence and the theft.
Attack the government that's letting it go. Don't just attack. Don't just attack.
for them to surround the police department in a peaceful protest where the officers are having trouble leaving the department and they have to deal with the crowds, surrounding the mayor's house, surrounding the city government's house, the city manager who helps hire police officers. That's my whole thing is when you want to deal with the root of the problem, if you deal on too big of a basis, it loses its stab. You have to deal with this type of behavior on a local focused basis. So first of all, people are saying that these cops haven't been charged with anything. They'll be charged with something.
Sure they will.
And it's just what you have to do, and you know this from law, and you can speak to this a little if you want, but anytime you go to a prosecution, and this is one thing that people cry out for, which is the swift prosecution and the over prosecution of people. In this case, because these police officers will have representation from unions and they will have backing from other police officers, even though they probably shouldn't.
You got to get it right.
You've
the
got to get
first
it right,
time.
and that's what happened when Baltimore
In
had
Georgia.
Georgia, and when Baltimore had their problems. The reason that the Freddie Gray incident became such a debacle for Baltimore is because the mayor, instead of the mayor standing up and saying, "Look, we're going to address these police officers. We're going to take care of them," she encouraged the rioting and looting by letting get it out of their system.
Yeah.
And and that's the thing, is that was almost let them eat cake. That was almost one of those sitting in an ivory tower thing. So, folks, the main thing about this is I actually I got upset to my stomach watching the video. I did.
Everyone should have.
It was a disheartening. It was a disheartening video. It was a disheartening video, and it was a video that needed to be seen. And that's another thing that the reason I talked about when I did a live kind of pre-production thing before this, talking about the show, and I said that you need to watch a show tonight because we're going to reveal some stuff about that needs to be talked about, and this is one of them where we are all in outrage over this, and we're all somber about it, and
we're all culpable.
Well, I don't see, and that's the thing. I don't think you can't say everybody's culpable.
You can.
Well,
and here's why.
But
I think when
no,
it's a
Because
societal
if you're
issue,
doing your job, calling it out when you see it, that's as much as you can do.
right. What I'm saying is, if you mean we all have culpability because of the act itself, I think you being in law enforcement and being an attorney, it was an individual crime. It was a
Sure. I'm
one-on-one
not
thing.
saying that at all.
One-on-one thing for that. The officers that stood around were fired because they didn't take action. And so my thing about it is, I think you said it, and I think you were talking about it, is what I'd like to put out there is, and I was a police officer and I was a prison guard, so I'm speaking from experience on this. I didn't stay a police officer because I didn't like the way I saw the job. I didn't like what I saw. I saw a lot of things that I didn't agree with.
Same reason I got out of it.
I want to say something to that when you make your point.
Yeah, and so I got out of it because I saw some things and heard some things that I didn't agree with, so I would say something or try to fight against it. And the honest to God truth is, I was blackballed, I was shunned, and I got fired from a job because I reported some illegal things going on. Now, they made it look like it was my job performance, and maybe I wasn't a great cop. I don't know. But my whole point is it's the same thing when you talk about terrorism. We always talk about, other peaceful Muslims standing up and saying that guy's doing this, like in a mosque. We call for that. We got to do that in police departments, and the police have to call out nefarious behavior and criminal behavior from their fellow officers. And I will tell you this officer that did this crime,
This is not his first rodeo.
it's not, and everybody knows
He
it
has a
now.
record of it, yeah.
And the point of the matter is if he's got a record of it, that means they either pushed it off the side in favor of his employment, and we've got to stop that. If you want to get good quality cops, you got to start firing and getting rid of the bad ones.
I think a lot of times with the people who have a record of it, you see that it comes off as like you were waiting till you had to fire them. It's like you had plenty of reason to let this person go,
Yeah.
because all these people always tend to have a record of this kind of abuse or something.
And
but
you
it's
don't-
like, okay, that didn't catch the public's attention. We're
Yeah.
gonna keep going. You can stay on.
And
I think it's true when people look at it as like the cops, the fire department, EMTs, nurses, CNAs, doctors, they're all fraternities. They're all
Shit under the
fraternities.
rug.
Well, they're
Protect your own
actually
goddamn
the truth is what we could see on the video if you watch.
What
There
I mean
wasn't
by
a-
fraternities is they stick to
Yeah, there was an
they're
EMT.
brothers.
There was an EMT standing on the side that was yelling at the guy, "Get off of him! He can't breathe. We've got to treat him. Get off of him." He didn't want to interfere with the cop because it could have become an incident, and that's the problem. Is you want to say something, you want to be part of it, and the other individuals that were standing around yelling at him, "Get off of him, man! Get off him! What's going on?" This other cop that was blocking, and they try to block video, and don't let people see. Look, if it hadn't been for social media, we wouldn't know about it yet. It wasn't on the news.
The thing is, though, the difference is EMT actually has a leg to stand on.
Yep.
The EMT could have ran over there, pulled that cop off, and not a damn thing happened. Now, anybody at this table runs over there and pulls that cop off, we're either shot or put in cuffs and charged.
And that is a problem, and that's where you also have to realize.
So how do you police the police
this,
if you're going to end up fucked?
well, and I've said this before, we need to have citizen advisory boards of a mixture of human beings, men, women, whatever, and they all need to basically get together and review what's going on in the community. It's not to oversight the police per se, although that's what it will do, but they also need to share that time with other officers. This needs to be a community involved fix.
Yes.
So for example, you want to fix Minneapolis right now? You've fired them. Now arrest them. That's the next step. Arrest them. Ensure that the prosecution is done correctly. That's the first step. As things settle down, then the mayor of the city or the police chief says, we will never have this incident again, and this is what we're going to do. I want to call a gathering of 12 or 14 citizens that have official positions, and everybody get together and we talk about what we need to do to
No,
fix it.
because at this point now it's the same thing as Ferguson. You got a bunch of people burning their fucking city to the ground, and what's going to happen? You got to find funding so they can rebuild the city so they can do it again on the next time?
But they got to do. Here's the thing. I get what you're saying.
The bottom line is don't have a next time.
Well, but to fix
Welcome
that,
to America.
but
There's always going to be.
We
this.
got to fix it by immediate action. The problem is
That's it.
People have problem with government because government takes. You've applied for governmental stuff? I've applied for it.
Always.
They make you wait forever because there's red tape with everything. There needs to be what happened in Ferguson was horrible all the way around. But what didn't happen was the city didn't take immediate action and coalesce together with the people.
And there's not a city that will.
But that's the thing. You're exactly right. And that's the thing. If Minneapolis actually cares about its people and wants this to heal and wants this stuff to stop, you make a spectacle of this press conference and you say, we are immediately converging and we are immediately getting together and calling together the leaders of the community, the leaders of the police department, the fire departments, EMT, anybody that has some official status, and we're sitting down in a room away from the press,
Right.
and we're going to hash this
And
out
I get
today.
that. Like, we've talked on that, and it's not a bad idea. The problem is, now you're just saying words.
Okay,
No,
so
I'm words that lead to action.
hold up.
I'm saying they have to do it.
Unless action happens.
Yeah, but
And that's the problem. Action never happens.
all I can do is give words right
No,
now.
right.
Okay.
No, I
Yeah.
get that. I
Yeah.
get that. I'm not saying you specifically. I'm saying, you want to fucking go?
Hold up.
It's because the people
Zach,
people in charge of
can I-
action want to absolve liability as well.
I think
That
we
is
both,
exactly what it is.
Like, I really agree with the fact that it's going to happen. People are going to change their mind, and people need to do things. Like, I agree with both of you because before, like I told you, I don't like really saying names, but I'm gonna say my brother, because he's actually my brother. He's a Cape County Sheriff Deputy. He's a Cape County Sheriff Deputy. In school, people called him the Army guy because he wanted to be in the Marines. He always came to school in military clothing, and he collects guns. He builds his own guns.
Yes.
And
Gun collector.
I asked him why did he become a cop? And my family, we moved to Cape Girardeau in 2006. We grew up in the Walnut Park area of St. Louis. Like I said on the last show, we didn't have the most lavish lifestyle.
You had bullet holes in your wall.
Yeah, we didn't have the most
Yeah,
lavish
you eat your dinner
lifestyle growing
sitting on the
up.
ground.
But I asked my brother why did he become a cop? Why did he want to get in the military and all that? And because he didn't get in the military, he became a cop. And he said he looked at where Walnut Park was. He looked at the situation in Walnut Park, how it was just so normal to see gang members walking down the street. a lot of people don't know that, like, in certain areas, when you see those shoes hanging over power lines, that's boundaries. That's boundaries. That lets you know, okay, right here.
Yeah, they take somebody's shoes.
You're entering our territory now.
And that goes into small towns too. I've seen
A
it.
lot of people just think people just got bored and threw some shoes over some wires. No, there's so much stuff you see. A little tag of graffiti on the side of a corner means something. And you know, he said he wanted to change. He wanted to be an influence and make sure that didn't happen in Cape. In the area we lived in Cape, it didn't get that bad as it was in Walnut Park of St. Louis. And now that he is a Cape County Sheriff Deputy, he's on the honor guard. He holds a lot of records for the Cape training, the training portion. He was asked to be one of the trainers there. And when I got done with the conversation, I was like, so you feel like you did that? And he said, being a Cape County Sheriff Deputy, I don't think that's the road to take to get it done. He said he feels like he likes his job, but he feels like it's pointless for the cause he was trying to make. Yeah, he arrests someone every now and then. When people see him, they driving down the street, they may stop the crime they're doing at the time or rethink whether they should do it. But so I think both of your points are right, because I think people need to do stuff, but the stuff that we have at our disposal now isn't the thing that's going to make change happen.
Cheers to him for trying to make a difference.
What we're doing now, like if you're like, I want to be a cop.
That's a group cheer, motherfucker.
If you're like, I want to be a cop, I'm going to change crime here. Being a cop isn't going to do it, because all those other cops around you, you bring on the entire image of the police department when you become a cop.
Yeah, you can.
And in the end, the police department's going to protect its image.
And literally, and in my case, and in a lot of other cases, you can be that positive change for good if you try. But it falls short because there's not a lot of support around you. Because what you get labeled as a cop, if you stand up and say something, you get labeled as you cross the blue line. And once you get labeled from crossing the blue line, nobody backs you up. And there's nothing scarier. And let me tell you, because this happened to me. I was on a traffic stop and got in a fight with a guy. And my partner on duty, which I'm not going to say who it was, he would not show up to back me up. Luckily, I was able to get him in handcuffs and secure the guy on the side of the road. There's a guy on meth. But my whole thing was at this point in time, I was going through some of the police department because I had basically gone and said, this is going on. And the assistant chief, who no longer liked me because he's the one that hired me, because I didn't want to see stuff like that happen. He basically put it out there that I was blackballed. I was the bad guy. So I didn't get assistance on a backup call. And if you watch movies from the past when they talk about police, the problem is the chiefs and the pervasive people and the people that are in control. Not
just watch The Departed.
The people that are in control, they have to be the catalyst for change. And if you're more worried about image than you are about action, you will never get anything done.
That's it. There's not a bright line test for this.
That's
but
right.
Damn it, this is the line.
Well,
this is so far across the line to offend everyone that's involved.
And my problem is we've had plenty of these flags before that have come up.
Sure.
And it's a shame that this guy had to die. It's a terrible tragedy this guy had to die. But if this needs to be the one that makes people everywhere go, all right, this is freaking enough of this shit.
This won't be the one.
I know, but so what is your
Compared to
point?
things that have
What is your
happened.
point? You keep saying that. I got to challenge you on that. This won't be the one.
right
Nothing's
back,
going to
guys. I
happen.
got
So what are you saying?
Now we got a bunch of white people sitting around. Sorry, I'll take one out of Devinesburg. We got a bunch of white people sitting around complaining that a cop did something.
Yeah,
What the fuck would we have done if we were there?
I would have stopped the cop.
With three other cops standing
Yeah,
around.
I would
Let
have
him
tried.
shoot me instead. You're
listen,
damn right.
Oh, they didn't shoot him.
I would have but I would have tried. I would have tried to get in and stop it.
Right.
I would have.
And my brain tells me the same thing.
Yeah.
All right? I don't promote this heinous act by any means.
No.
But we've got to do everything we can do to stop it.
And it
But
will
that's-
never stop.
I know, but here's the thing. When we say that it'll never stop, until we actually, like we're doing right here,
Right.
the next time we go out in public together, right, or wherever we're at, if right here on the sidewalk, we see something like that, it is our job, it is as a human being to go out there and stand against it. That's how we could do it. So
What if 5
going
people
forward,
had rushed that cop and they'd all gotten shot? Think
well,
about that. That's going to
well,
happen.
no.
That's in the
But
future.
here's
That
the
is
thing.
in our
It-
cars
it is.
until we say no.
Yeah.
You're not doing this again. You're not
It doesn't
killing
matter.
another
At
black
that moment,
man
now we
that's
just
not
buried the
doing
case.
anything.
Now the true tragedy of the matter
I know.
is now covered.
No, I get what you're saying, but here's my thing, okay? And this is what I talk to my wife about all the time. What you're doing right now is you're talking about the problem, and you're not talking about the moving forward solution.
Because there's not a solution.
There is, man. If there's no solution, then freaking give it up. Move somewhere else and move off in the field. You have to know that there's something we can do. Otherwise, MLK's death means shit. And to me, he was one of my heroes.
Yeah.
And I get that. But you know exactly what's going to happen. It's going to be the same thing that happened in St. Louis.
I get it, but here's the thing. Until we start all of us together, not just subsections, not just having little talks at tables, until we all start standing up for that, right? If there had been one politician from Minneapolis, just say a white guy, a white city councilman would have showed up and told him, I am ordering you as a city government official to get off of that arrested subject, and he would have put himself out there, it would have gone so far towards a little bit of healing. The problem is everybody lets it happens, and then nobody. And that's the thing is the black folks standing around that were seeing it happen. They know what happens if black folks try to get involved.
These aren't the types of things that you see on a one-on-one. If people had been like, let him go, and he let him go, and he shot the cop one-on-one, yeah, okay, we're not going to hear about that.
We don't want. This is.
But when we've got 70 people standing around and 5 cops standing around, the 5 cops are defending this guy killing the black man, we got a problem.
Well, and here's the other.
Okay, you know what? And one thing that I think needs to be acknowledged that I think
How are we on the same page on this?
I think constantly gets overlooked is the fact that, okay, we keep talking about the people that were around that were watching, and we don't just say the people. And when you brought up the politician that was going to show up, a white politician, the black people that were there, the white people that were there, what the white person would have did if the politician was white and would have done this. The thing is, hold up, I'm sorry, I don't know if you guys can even hear me or
We need to hear this.
We probably heard you a little bit, but
the
go ahead.
thing is, no matter how unbiased you want to tell yourself you are, I don't care. I am not a racist person. But to be honest, when I come and sit at this table, when I look at each of you, just from the way you're dressed or something, it affects my opinion of you in some way. Just being honest.
You're right.
Oh, no, there's nothing wrong with that,
And
though.
that's what I'm saying. We
Yeah.
need to acknowledge that it's nothing wrong with that, but that's the world we live in. So
Right.
these people who talk about being colorblind or I don't see color or anything, even if you don't see color, there's so much more we see to judge each other off
and
of.
that's
Hold up.
exactly right.
And my main point
right.
is
Prejudice is not always racial.
exactly. And my main point is we also do things to survive because even though we say we don't see this or the world doesn't do this or America's getting better at this, whatever. The thing is, when I as a black man was going to those dinner shows for banks at their parties, for people's retirement party, and I got on stage to sing, and people had to pay like $300 to go to some of these shows or $50 to go to some. It was a variety based on what it was. I went to those shows, and in the back of my head, it was always in my mind, I am finna be 23 to 25-year-old black dude in a room full of rich, old white people. So I didn't act like I'm acting right now. I went in that room and I had my best clothes on. My back was always straight. Every word was said you heard every letter of every word. I spoke so clearly. And it wasn't because I thought these people was racist. It was just because I know the stereotype that is held on people like me.
That's come as far back as the 30s.
And I want to fight that stereotype. And the thing is, it wasn't even something I did on purpose. It was just something I kind of did for my better good, my own good. We know those stereotypes. We know things happen. And when we pretend like they don't happen, or that, I think it was Jay-Z who said it. America's not getting more racist, it's just getting recorded. Like,
That's all it is.
it's just
true.
it's just getting seen more.
So Obama, speaking of that, Obama actually, I read his book, The Audacity of Hope, and in the book, he talks about that exact thing what you just talked about, and it's so good, such a good point. He talked about when he was being educated in Hawaii by the communist guy that was educating him. The communist guy, I don't remember his name, so I'm just calling him the communist guy, told him that he would be accepted better than most black folks because he was clean and polished. So Obama knew when he went into a room to community organize in Chicago of a bunch of white people where you get your money at that situation, he knew he had to. He fit in.
Those lobbyists.
Those types of people. Well, they were at the time. It was city leaders and city, rich people from Chicago. He would go into the room and he wanted to get money for certain things in the community. So Obama knew. He spoke about it. He goes, I knew if I were a clean-cut, well-dressed, well-spoken black man that I would be accepted by white people, and he knew that. So he said that in his book, and he was talking about that he knew how to be accepted.
Okay, I do want to say this because this is something that makes me angry. The way that that's worded, that's true. But the way
That
it's
was
worded,
Obama that worded,
yeah,
not mine,
the way
yeah.
it's worded. If I was a clean-cut, well-dressed black man, I'd be accepted by white people. A lot of people can comment to that and be like, well, you should be a clean-cut, well-dressed person. What's wrong with being clean-cut, well-dressed? The thing
It's
is,
societal.
It's the image of people put their own image on what is clean-cut and well-dressed. Like,
Yes, sir.
Some people will look at me I'm a top button kind of guy. My very top button is button. Not a lot of people do that.
You have flamingos on your shirt.
have
I think
flamingos on
Ludacris
my
is
shirt.
well spoken.
Exactly, but the fact that so many things can change about what's
My
well
parents would
dressed.
not.
I have one pair of tennis shoes. All my other shoes are dress shoes. I have one pair of tennis shoes. I have
Yeah, I
all
don't-
my
I
shirts
don't
are
like that about you,
button-ups.
by the way. I don't like
and
that
the thing is, you can still be well dressed if
Dress
you're
shoe
wearing.
wearing.
You can be wearing mid-top Jordans and a Nike sweatsuit, and still be well dressed.
Right.
And still be, but the thing is, certain people, the stereotypes that get put on things automatically make it negative.
Yeah.
Because while I'm wearing this today and I look really nice, I could go out tomorrow and be walking down the street and have on that outfit I just
Good
described.
attention order.
And the white people
Not
I
you,
walked past
not you.
today,
I'm talking
the
about-
white people I walked past today who were friendly with me will just see me as that who wearing all that Nike and all that.
That what? That what?
We know what you're saying.
You can say it.
That
If you don't, I will.
that nigga,
There you go.
they just gonna see me as that
Just say it.
nigga.
We need to say it. We
It's
need to
just
make
like,
it.
oh,
We
he's
need to
just
make it
another
what it
nigga.
is.
Because literally, while I was working at Family Dollar, I had someone comment to me about how I speak, and I get that a lot.
You
but
speak
the
way
fact
too
that they-
well
the fact
for
that
me,
they
for
brought
my
in,
comfort.
The fact that they brought in
Oh,
my color.
He's in my comfort
No one
zone.
ever
Love that.
compliments a white man for being well spoken.
Yes.
There you go.
They brought in my color.
There you
they
go.
Just said, we don't see that a lot nowadays from color.
And they don't even
people."
realize-
I was just done. I
No,
was
but
just like,
that's
what?
true. That's an example of exactly the problem. The racism that exists without people even knowing it's there. The thought process that's
It's like, just
natural.
acknowledge
It's long standing.
Well,
Because black people chose not to integrate into white culture and white people can't stand it.
Well, no, because
That's it.
That's true. But at the same time, during the uprisings of the civil rights movement, black people finally said, "I'm not part of your system
Yeah.
anymore. I'm tired of it.
Yeah.
Because I can't. You won't let me."
And they threw it on the ground.
And they threw it on the ground, just like the song. And I
I'm
threw
not
it on
gonna
the
be
ground.
part of this system.
That's right. So here's my something's disheartening with Katie saying back into it. I just.
Oh God.
So let me go over a couple things real quick. For the podcast and for the live stream, you've been watching sessions stream live from Shaker's Bar downtown Cape on the podcast. Thank you for joining us. This is something we do every Thursday from 8 to 10. If you get on board and you like what we're doing, there is a GoFundMe page. It's called Sessions. Come fly with me. We're trying to get better mics, better equipment, and
Every dollar counts,
and
folks.
to try to grow this. What we're trying to do, because here's my goal with this.
Where's Jerry Lewis when
Is
you need him?
I want everybody out there that watch this to start a conversation with someone they don't agree with, someone that they don't understand, someone that they're trying to get to know better. Because as Damon said, and as Matt has alluded to, and everybody else has said, we can disagree on stuff, but we can get along on stuff. The bottom line is, until we start understanding and listening and absorbing, it's one thing to say, I'm listening to you.
And have a conversation, not an argument. Go in there thinking that maybe they have a point that they can teach
Yeah.
you.
Don't go in saying
Don't
you're
go in
going to
there-
change a mind.
Exactly. Don't go in there waiting for that person to get done moving their lips so you can counter them.
Yeah.
Go in there and hear what they have to say. And sometimes you might have to start your counter off with, okay, I agree with you on this. Or, oh man, that's a good point. Can you tell me more about that? Because even when I went into debate, like I said in the previous one, when I studied debate in school, I loved when my teacher said, and I'll never forget this quote, We always want to win these debates, but still there's a learning opportunity. Go in there thinking that maybe this person knows everything and you know nothing.
And that's the
Man.
point.
Maybe.
That's the
Maybe
foundation
you're
of
wrong.
knowledge.
Maybe you're wrong.
I have set about a path of trying to listen to younger people as I get older, because I don't want to ever lose contact or touch with what they're going through, what they're going through.
Years ago, the world knew. You were an idiot if you said otherwise, that the world was round. The world knew that it was flat. Everyone
What?
knew it was flat.
The
And you were
world's
an idiot.
round?
So,
What the hell?
and there's so many other things. There were so many other things. Certain sicknesses were considered curses. If you had a cold, it was a curse brought onto you because you didn't do something.
Man, 150 years ago, people thought they'd burst into flames if they went over 35 miles an hour.
Come on.
I thought it was 88.
So to get to our closing here, man,
Just stand by your point, but still know you have something to learn.
we really have to acknowledge Damon. I appreciate everything your input,
Yeah.
man. I give you the gold star for the night. You kind of took what I wanted to
We're
make
doing gold stars now?
just for him, not
We've
for
been
you.
around for fucking.
It's his privilege.
This guy's been around for 36 episodes.
It's his
You guys
privilege.
got
I
him.
just want to say, you called me a newbie to the bar yesterday.
Hey, I already apologize.
I'm going to say, I was coming to this bar when it was mixing 10.
Before
man.
him.
Same.
I will say this. To me, you are.
I was in the hospital
because I haven't
when
met
Brandon
you
started coming. I
except
was in the
for 3
hospital.
weeks
So,
ago.
yeah,
So-
when Brandon started coming, I was in the hospital for months, and so he never saw me.
So, folks, what I want to
That was
close,
my mistake.
what I want to close with is this: everybody that sits at this table, nobody makes a dime. We don't make a dime off this. In fact, they support the bar. They get a drink, and they also, 2 of the gentlemen so far, and I know you're going to, are supporting the GoFundMe. The GoFundMe is not for any of us to make money. We're not making any money. It's to make this program better, and we want to grow it. And as we get more interest and more people follow and realize that this is the way we need to do things, not just media and get your information from this type of thing from people that are like you, but also change the way we accept media, the way we receive it. Don't be lied to anymore. Don't say there is no race issue in this country, that it's over. Don't say you don't see black and white. Don't say that we don't have a point we need to talk.
Amen.
All of that needs to go away. We have to start listening. We have to start paying attention. And to Zach's point, nothing will ever change until someone steps up one by one and starts making a change.
That's right.
And we can't ever give up hope with it, and we have to start moving forward.
All change starts right here.
So as Michael Jackson said, the man in the mirror. I'm looking at the man in the mirror. Everybody has to make a change. So I dedicate myself from now on. If I see something that is not right, I'm going to take a stand and say something, or I'm going to come on the show and call it out. That is my call out.
And you know, to be honest, I'm gonna ask black people to be honest on this and white people to be honest on the same thing, but it kind of hits a different way for the different races. I 100% hate what Joe Biden said.
Fucking right.
But as any black people watching, as a black person, have you not looked at another black person and said, "Oh, if you didn't vote for Obama, or if you didn't vote for this party, you're not black." Or if you don't think this person the best at this, you're not black.
We gotta
And
be
how
honest.
many white people out there have said, "Oh, if you don't do this, then you're racist," or "Oh, if you didn't vote for this person, you don't like black people."
Yeah.
It's happened.
We've all said that, but when someone in the public eye
Well,
says
I've
it,
never actually said that.
no, I mean, but
to be
it's
honest
kinda
with you,
like-
You've heard it.
What I
You've
mean
heard
is
it.
like
I've heard
it's
it
in
a
the
lot.
world. Yeah, 'cause
Yeah.
I've never said it actually.
Yeah, I
But
never
it's been
said
said
it.
to me a lot because
Yeah.
you've heard my opinions. My opinions suck when you apply it to stereotypes of what my opinion should be. So like,
Well, that's just
You're-
it.
you're
Your
crushing-
opinions are your opinions.
you're
They're
crushing
my opinion.
stereotypes, though, man, which is
Exactly.
important.
So I just think it sucks. Like we need to be honest with ourselves first, and if we notice that we see, it's okay to see color. Just don't let color decide your actions, your opinions.
Yeah.
Man, that's a great statement.
So the last thing I want to end with before we close out the show is I want to just real quick, as we're already over time, but we do that all the freaking time. So I want to bring up the Trump Twitter thing just real quick because Brandon made a post about this and I got on there about it. So I want everybody to think about this. What's worse, a president wanting to stop certain things on social media, or a social media company controlling people? What is worse? And I think that's where we lie. We either lie on the side of everyone has freedom and says what they need to say. And I understand we don't want to have threats on there and we don't want to hurt people.
I gotta step out for just.
But everybody, what do you think is worse? A president that wants Twitter to be more open and more fair with everybody? Because that's what he's calling for.
Speaking for a person that wants the president to shut the hell up on Twitter, you cannot fact check an opinion with another opinion. That's all I'm going to say about it.
You can't fact check an opinion.
No.
You can't, period. An opinion cannot be fact checked. An opinion is an individual's opinion. You're saying this is what I think. And this is the problem, is people think when Trump says it because he's the president that he's not allowed to have an opinion. He's still a human being and he's an American first.
It's literally counteracting a hypothesis with a hypothesis.
Yes.
And so here's my thing. Twitter's wrong and Trump's wrong. They're both wrong.
Yeah.
They're both wrong in this situation. Twitter's wrong because they're on the open market. Now what Trump got done though is now they're publishers.
Oh, I'm sorry, I stepped away. Are we talking about the Trump fact check shit?
Trump actually got Twitter labeled as a publisher. So now they fall under the First Amendment stuff and they can't, they have to admit what they're doing, basically.
Yeah, good.
No, and that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Now it's fair.
Yeah,
now it's fair.
But for the fact that he's like all butthurt about it, I think it's personally hilarious.
Look.
I agree.
Trump is a very prideful, big baby about stuff.
Yeah. Like
when he gets attacked,
But it's not an attack. It's just we're holding him to the highest standard, which he should be held to.
I know, but
as
he does.
the
Look,
leader of the free
let's
world.
admit this. Sitting here before we close,
Yeah.
Americans, we're the
has
ones who call us the free world.
anybody ever, as a president, been received this much scrutiny? Even
Yes.
though, no, they
Abraham
haven't.
Lincoln.
Abraham Lincoln.
Yeah, but look at what he went through. I'm talking about in the modern times.
They hated him.
When the modern times.
10 states didn't even put him on the ballot, and he still won, and that made them even more.
The Gettysburg Address was damned.
What you have
and
going on
and it turned
now,
out to be one of the best speeches ever.
What you have going on now is you have the media attacking a president, most of the media, and they're attacking the president for everything he says, everything he does.
It's not even an attack. It's almost like I wake up and this is why I deleted my Facebook app from my phone. I re-download it every Thursday just to help with the show. But
well, thanks for being a part of things.
Well, yeah, of course. But the thing is that the reason that I deleted it is because every time I scroll through, it's all this negative shit, right? It's this is happening, coronavirus, Trump did this, and that's actually my point. Is that it's always the media, and you're right, and he has a point to say fake news all he wants, but it just seems like every time, Jesus Christ, Wizard is wearing a skeleton.
He does all the time.
Jesus fucking Christ.
And then he is. That is one of his biggest problems. And he just walked by the camera on purpose and then walked backwards.
Anyway.
That's what he does.
But the point is that every day, all the news is there's not going to be a new season of Black Mirror because we're fucking living in it, and look what Trump said. And can you believe it? And yes, I do, because it's a fucking TV show.
And Trump did it he's done it on purpose.
He's
He
doing it on
He
purpose.
played them
He
on
doesn't give a
purpose.
fuck.
So if you're worried about free speech and a president having ultimate power, Trump's not trying to end Twitter because Twitter left his comment up and they put at the end of, no, he doesn't want to end Twitter. That's his bastion, man.
I almost wonder
he
if
doesn't want to end it. It's his outlet. He's called the Twitter president for a reason. He uses Twitter to communicate with people. He doesn't want Twitter to end. What he wants is the ridiculousness to end. If he has an opinion, look, I take Trump at face value. When Trump says something, I read past what he's saying because I know a lot of his strategies because I've studied the guy. If you don't learn, well, I take him at face value, meaning I take what he says with a grain of salt, meaning I go past.
I'm going to say you have to, everyone who talks about how Trump is so open about things, he says what's on his mind, you also have to be prepared for the fact that people can set images that they want you to look at them by. While Trump can be very honest at times and very unprepared and unrehearsed with what he says,
he's scrupulous.
Sometimes there may be a speech where he has rehearsed that ignorance or that craziness.
Yeah.
And it could be a false speech, but because you know him as, he's going to say what's on his mind, you're going to take it.
Yeah.
Value what he does, not what he says.
Exactly. Yeah. You got to look at what happens.
The thing is, though, is that we always hold the president or public officials or people who are in the media's eyes to a higher level.
Maybe
And
we
it's
should
partially
stop
because,
it. We just need
it's
to
partially
stop.
because in the old times we had the gods, right? And in new times we have celebrities.
I love
And
the-
now we've got public officials, and we always want to hold them to a higher standard because
The
they're
great
people to look up
philosopher.
to, right?
Boomers might
are.
know this. Boomers and maybe
Whether you
X
like it or not.
generation, maybe X generation. A lot of people might know this, but I bet more people don't. What's that show? Steve Wilkos used to be on that show.
Jerry Springer.
Jerry Springer. Jerry Springer started off as a politician.
Yeah, he was in Cleveland.
Yeah, he ended up losing
Did some
his
sketchy
position.
shit.
He
Mayor
lost
of
his
Cincinnati.
position because he paid a prostitute with a check,
Yep.
and it had his name on it. It had his
Yeah.
name on it. It's like you
Yeah.
were the one who. So it's like you got to look at it like these people have these jobs, but it doesn't mean
They're just people.
Yeah,
They're
in
just
the
people.
end, they're people.
And when you get elected, it doesn't put you at a higher level.
I honestly think it invites more evil into your life. It gives
does.
you more opportunity to do bad things.
It does, which is why I want to close by saying June 18th, we're going to have Representative Holly Rader back on the show, a true, actual representative of the people that actually, when you talk to her, you fall in love because she's exactly what we need in Jeff City. She's running for Senate, and her primary runner against, not primary, her, what's it called before the primary?
Incumbent? Oh, fuck.
Anyway, she's trying to get the Republican nomination to run for Senate because she's going against Kathy Swan. I know Holly from talking to her. She's coming back on the show. I invited her to come on for a special 1 hour segment with just me and her, she and I. She wanted to be on the show. She's like, I like that wackiness. I want to be a part of it. So I'm like, okay.
She don't know what she said.
Oh, she knows.
Well,
she
here's
knows.
here's what probably you should do the private interview and then also do the show.
Well, we're going to do the interview at the end of the show.
Oh,
So
right
I'm going to do a one-on-one with her.
We'll
and
end
let her-
up fucking off.
Yeah,
Yeah, you
that'll
guys,
be dope.
it'll be after you guys. We'll end the show, and then we'll do the extended version with the interview with Holly, so she can talk about her issues. She didn't want to do it during the show. She wanted to just do the normal stuff. So
Right on.
we'll do some fun stuff with her. So I want to end the show now. I want to thank all the guests, Damon. I want to thank Matt and Brandon and Zach. And yes, I'm 50. I can't remember names sometimes, so I pause. I am the boomer extraordinaire / Generation X, whatever.
No.
The host, and I'm so pleased that you stopped by to join us for this little folly and craziness here on all of this, on all of the podcast locations, and of course on our favorite Facebook live stream. We're here every Thursday from 8 to 10 p.m. Now, share the episode. Go find our podcast on Spotify, iTunes, Breaker, Anchor, wherever else.
Give us something to debate about.
Share the podcast. Listen to the podcast. Fall in love with us like we have fallen in love with ourselves, and we'll move forward and get involved with the GoFundMe page. We're receiving donations as we move ahead, and that'll let us bring more of this to you if you like it. If you don't, stop watching and quit being an asshole. For all of my guests and myself as your host, thank you for joining us. We'll see you next Thursday from 8 to 10 p.m. Good night.
We'll see you.
Cape Girardeau, stop shooting people.